on AFL Live, one of the games of the season and a replay of last year's grand final. The West Coast Eagles take on Geelong under lights at the WACA. And you have the best seats in the house on 7 Sports.
Yes, good evening everyone. It certainly is going to be a mighty night here in Perth for one of the games of the season. Geelong and the West Coast Eagles, as we said, a replay of the grand final. But I guess more importantly, as Ernest, the Eagle, descends upon the WACA ground, more importantly, it is a must-win situation for both sides. Firstly, for the Cats, one, they've got to win to keep their finals hopes alive, but secondly, and ideally, they'd like to win by more than 10 goals to assure themselves of a spot in the finals. That man is going to be a key, Gary Ablett, who has found it pretty tough against the West Coast Eagles in recent seasons. As far as the Eagles are concerned, it's a vital game for them as well, because they would dearly love once again to host a final here in Perth at the Subiaco ground, which I might add is in somewhat different condition to this. This is an absolute picture here tonight. You could drop a golf ball on it and it would just sit up and ask to be hit. When they last met, you may remember that the Cats led by some 38 points during the third quarter, and home came the Eagles, and this was at Cardinia Park to record an 8-point victory. So the Cats have something to prove here tonight. Two gentlemen who've flown over tonight on Ansett with a lovely flight, and I must add, are pumped because I think we've got a bonus, haven't we? The finals don't start till next week, Robbo. But this is the final.
Setup, absolutely fantastic setup, isn't it, Bernie?
Well, it's the biggest night in Perth, isn't it, for the year? It's a terrific build-up. The crowd will be capacity, Sandy, and of course Geelong must win this one to have any chance of playing in the finals. But
there's some drama because Geelong has just run out onto the ground. Gary Hocking made the trip. He trained last night, and to all intents and purposes, the feeling was that he would line up. He's not out there.
Well, he's such a very, very good possession gatherer, and he gets it in difficult circumstances. So I'm sure that Geelong will badly miss him as the Eagles come onto the ground. And we can also report there that they've got the player missing in Dwayne Lamb. We do know that Matt Clappe has taken his place in the Eagles lineup. At this stage, we're not too sure on who has replaced Gary Hocking.
Yeah, that's a huge loss, Sandy. You doing the West Coast?
West Coast, yes. Mainwaring and Matera, I think, two very important players. Peter Matera, the Norm Smith medalist from last year, and Peter Sumich has had quite an ordinary year by his standards, but Peter Wilson on that half-forward line has been pretty good. The West Coast fans have been very, very impressed with Paul Harding's performance this year.
Now, Hocking, that is a major loss. Stephen O'Reilly's in the side for the at Geelong at centre half back, replacing the injured player there from last week. McGrath, yes, suspended. I'm sorry, he was suspended last week. Couch in the centre has been getting a lot of possessions. Stoneham at centre half forward, very important. But the big loss, as I said, Gary Hocking out of that side.
Yes, dramatic news for Geelong. I know it's a full house down at Cardinia Park tonight, a big night down there. We hope you're going to enjoy our telecast on the big screen. We'll take a break and then be back with all the action. To the WACA, it's an interesting coach's box. If you're a Geelong fan, Malcolm Blight sitting on a table after standing on a table after taking the decision that Gary Hocking will not take his place in the Geelong lineup. In his place comes Paul Lynch. He'll be wearing his number 43 Guernsey. It's a magnificent night as we check out the Mitsubishi Motors ground report, and welcome to the WACA ground here in Perth, Johnny Rogers. John, we couldn't have asked for a better night.
It's fantastic, Sandy. The atmosphere, seriously, as the cliche goes, you could cut with a knife. An absolutely capacity crowd looking forward to a great game of footy. It's fine and cloudy, as you, Blake, said a little earlier. There's not a problem with the weather at all. The wind about 15 kilometres. It's a 2-goal westerly breeze blowing down towards the causeway end of the ground or away from the city. The present temperature is 14 degrees. It's going to drop to about 8, Sandy. The humidity's 58%. The ground, as you would expect, is in absolutely superb condition. And while we may get a little cold down here, I can assure you the players on the field will not.
No, you're quite right. Johnny, quickly your selection.
Oh, the Eagles. Just.
I reckon you've got off the tram. All right, thanks, John. We'll stay in touch with you throughout the night. Bernie, your selection.
Gee, I was going for Geelong, Sandy, with Gary Hocking in the side, but gee, that makes it tough. I might have to change my selection. I think I'm going for the Eagles now.
Robbo?
I think the West Coast will win comfortably.
I'm going for the Cats. Umpires are Darren Goldspeak and Chris Mitchell. So here we go. This is like a final here at the WACA ground. The bounce is not a good one. It's going to favour Harding, who flicks it back over his head. Back in towards the middle. Steele got taken out of it. He comes back after a suspension, and Geelong fans will be glad to see him back. He gets another attempt to get a hand pass away. Now they've got a chance through Colbert to go up to the half-forward line. Barnes takes the mark. Off to the running Bairstow. 55 metres out from goal. Goes long towards the master. Couldn't take the mark. An attempt to soccer off the ground is unsuccessful. Eventually it's Jakovic who goes back to half-back. Matera dropped it. Steve Hocking off to Riccardi. He lost sight of it. Still 40 metres out. Now Robert Scott. Hurried left foot snap. In towards Ablett again. In the right pocket. That will have to be special. Oh, the mark is taken. The kick is good, and it's a goal to Tudor. So what a start by the Cats. And what an extraordinary kick in by Ablett.
Yes, well, he's a magician, isn't he, Gary Ablett? There's a player that kicked that goal, Leigh Tudor, the former North Melbourne player. Robert Scott, the hurried left foot around his body there. Gary Ablett in all sorts of trouble. Brennan closing in rapidly. And easy as you like there, Leigh Tudor. Fortunately, that kick coming from Ablett hit him right on the chest.
Well, good surprise tactics there by Gary Ablett. I'm sure that Brennan thought that he was going to gather the ball. And that upset the player in the pocket as well, who was Mitchell White. Now, back in the centre. Good bounce this time. Harding and Barnes. It rebounds. Couch kicks it forward. Up towards centre half forward. Jakovic went for the man. The ball at the back. Brownless. He started brilliantly, Billy.
The Cats by 12 points in a thrilling start here at the WACA ground. Barnes wins it again. Out of the centre charges Bairstow. He's been inspirational in the opening minutes. Jakovic gets claimed. Great tackle. He loses it. Billy Brownless pumps it from 55. In towards the pocket. In towards Ablett. Almost the mark to Brennan. And eventually it's rushed over the line for a throw-in by Hart.
Banfield with the job on Bairstow, Sandy. And Paul Couch playing on Dean Kemp in the centre.
All Geelong in the opening couple of minutes. Another throw-in, still in the right forward pocket for the Cats.
John down on the boundary line mentioned about atmosphere. When you look around, it's just a sea of faces everywhere. This is absolutely chockers, isn't it?
That's wonderful. Wonderful atmosphere. Bear in mind, Geelong kicking with a slight breeze. Bairstow for number 3. Oh! Cats are purring nicely at the moment. 3 straight. The Eagles yet to score.
Oh, this is an amazing start by Geelong. They've only gone about 2.5 minutes on the clock, and Geelong with 3 goals on the board. And watch this in replay. Of course, this is the scoring end of the ground.
Yep.
To left off screen, out of that ruck contest. Bairstow doing the roving. They really are thrashing the West Coast Eagles out of the middle at the moment.
The West Coast have got to be careful, because if Geelong get any further in front, they'll be playing catch-up football for the rest of the night. Barnes looks very, very keen. His performance last week against Essendon was excellent. Away goes Steele. His high kick. Half-forward line. No mark taken. Ablett. The mercurial Gary Ablett. But the mark is taken by his direct opponent, Brennan. Short pass. Centre-half back. Mark taken by Pike. Pike kicks it up towards the wing. Marking contest. Punched away by Wilson. And he's going to get a free kick. No, it's going against Peter Wilson. And the umpire indicating that he may have been holding on to his opponent. So for Geelong, it's Stephen Hocking to kick it high in towards centre-half forward. Good contest there between Jakovic and Stoneham, taken by Kemp. Kemp kicks it wide. Matera the dasher. Can he get past Riccardi? No. Peter Riccardi played such a great game against Peter Matera earlier this year down at Geelong. And
free
there
kick
they
to
are
Matera.
matched up again. Matera's got the free kick on this occasion. But they're matched up again this evening in this very important clash.
3 goals to the Cats in the opening couple of minutes in a dynamic start. Matera up towards McIntosh. Barnes was there as well. Steve Hocking working hard. Ball spilling free towards Steele. Going to be a free kick going the way of Geelong. Be taken by Steve Hocking across half back.
Against Peter Wilson there. Just a little bit severe with that tackle. He fell on top of Steve Hocking.
It's on the outer side. It's a very
Peter Wilson being spoken to there, Sandy. He was a little bit, maybe I think the book's out.
I think it is. Yes.
Certainly, I don't know whether it was all that necessary. He certainly fell into the back of Steve Hocking.
Hocking kicks towards centre wing. Stoneham the flyer. Bairstow's away. Play on was the call. Colbert got caught. And eventually it's Matera close to the boundary line.
He was lucky you saw that one coming, Sandy. Gets stoned and flew in there at him.
He's got it at centre wing. So this to send the Eagles down to their half-forward line. Instead he goes short, finds Heady. He's really still on the outer wing. Cool night. Harding kicks up towards half-forward. Fine mark, taken by the most exciting player in McIntosh.
Big job from Colbert.
Oh, this is where they miss McGrath across half-back.
To half-forward. Barnes comes over the top and he belts it clear. Trevor Poole's on half-back. Does it nicely. Kicks in towards the middle. Couch. The left footer's away, but he sweeps a hand pass to Barry Stoneham. Stoneham from 51 metres. Hooks it round his body. Brennan gets back. Not in time, but it's away to the right and one behind.
Great hand pass there coming from Paul Couch. 30-metre hand pass.
Beauty. 3-1. Eagles yet to score.
So it's White back there to kick the ball back into play for the West Coast. Comes to this near side. A high kick out towards centre half back. No mark taken. Chance for Poole. Sweeping hand pass into the path of Steele. Steele across his left shoulder. A high one in towards centre half forward. And that could nearly be a mark paid there to Riccardi. I think it has been.
Yes, courageous effort too from Riccardi.
He's an improved player, Peter Riccardi. I saw him play probably one of his early senior games in a match in Auckland about 2 years ago, I think it was. And he's kicked on enormously since then and become a key player across the centre line for the Cats. He's a good kick of the football too. He should score from here. He kicks. It's close. It's a goal.
The Cats by 25 points. Couch looking to get it out of the middle. Does so to Riccardi once again, sweeping it wide for Steele. Can't get clear. Now he does and just gets the stick away in time. They're fighting hard. Bairstow up towards the 50-metre line. Stoneham forced to do it with one hand. Tudor taken out of it. Pike takes the hand pass. He's on half-back. Don Pike played every game this year for the Eagles. Finds Matera.
Ball's gone flat, Sandy.
I'm not surprised the way they've started.
Well, that is attack, that one.
God, it would be a fair souvenir, wouldn't it? So Matera with a new ball on half-back. Geelong kicked 4-1. McIntosh belts it over the pack. Colbert did well. Finds Bairstow in towards half-forward. Brown was there, couldn't take the mark. Goes back over the centre once again. No one at home, however. Colbert takes another mark. Gives it off to Steve Hocking. The Cat's out of trouble to Poole, almost in the middle. Trevor Poole plays on. You're in trouble. And he's lost it. Now a chance. Advantage is paid. Forward they go. Up towards full forward. The long kick is in towards Godden. And it's going to finish up a goal. And the first one for the Eagles. And Peter Sumich is on the board.
Well, a much-needed goal, of course, to the West Coast Eagles. Trevor Poole just taking on Chris Mainwaring. They're playing on this members' side of the ground on the wing, opposed to each other. Just a little nudge there from Peter Sumich. And a bad mistake there from Trevor Poole.
Terrific stuff by Mainwaring, as you mentioned, Bernie. He was red hot there, and Poole gone for all money. And a good decision by the umpire to give the Eagles the advantage. But Geelong have done very well in the opening minutes, 4-1 to a goal. They could go forward again here through Couch. Oh, down goes a player. It is Couch. And he's going to take the free kick. Maybe he just accentuated that a little. And Paul Couch, a lovely kick off the left foot. This is a little bit too high. Out towards half forward. Ablett flew for the mark. Swooping on it is Poole. He's grabbed by the leg and the finish by White. The tackle wasn't bad, but it slipped down around the legs. And the free kick will go to Poole, and he's looking for a 50-metre, but not forthcoming. He is 50 metres from goal, so it'll take a good kick to score.
The wind slightly going across him too, Robbo, just into this left forward pocket.
Well, he's going for the long kick. Just off to the right-hand side of the square. Brownless, nearly. No, interfered with his opponent, Billy Brownless. And the free kick will go to the West Coast to be taken in the last line of defence by, looks like Evans, is it? Evans, and his kick to the 50-metre line. By gee, the race is on here. A really, very, very important gather here, and it's taken for the West Coast by Banfield. He kicks towards half-forward, McIntosh.
You're right,
great
Robbo.
young player. inside.
This is a big task for the umpire Colbert playing on McIntosh.
McIntosh kicks inside 50 metres. High flyer Barnes bashes it close to the boundary line. Hughes goes back, gathers. Short kick, okay. Mark is taken for Geelong by Colbert.
On half-back, Leigh Colbert. McIntosh on the mark. Kicks to centre wing. Mainwaring couldn't quite hold it. Good shepherding gives Pike the opportunity. The shepherding done by Hart. Back to half forward once again. Could be a free kick over the shoulder. And it's going to come back. The Eagles will go further forward. Tony Godden's going to take it on right half forward.
They've started with both their interchange players on the ground, Godden and Banfield.
His kick puts them inside 50. Sumich was his target, but the Rat stands his ground. Andrew Hughes, and like a rock. Steele out of the back pocket. Bairstow. Well, it was kicked superbly to position. Bairstow was surrounded by three. Pinpoint positioning.
By just telling him to cool it there, pushing Peter Matera in the face.
Well, he comes from the west, but you'd never know by those boos, would you? Worsfold. Punch from behind. Tudor's quick, but not quick enough. Mainwaring almost got one high. His hand pass doesn't go very far. But he's going to get a free kick for the Eagles. There was some holding on going on there. And it's going to come back. Dean Kemp will take it at half-back. 19 points the margin, favouring the Cats. Kemp wide to the outer side. McIntosh forced to spoil. Now they've got a chance to run. Up towards Godden again, once again. Hinckley's with him. It's on half forward. O'Reilly does well. Coming back into the side. Riccardi now, still with O'Reilly. He's followed play down. Their use of hand pass is good. Colbert's in trouble.
Too high. Bit fortunate there. Probably overusing the handball. Geelong coming out of defence, as they did in that first half last week against Essendon. Ran into a lot of problems across half-back.
Short to Hinckley.
Hinckley's got the ball just wide of centre half-back, between centre half-back and centre wing. His high kick goes up in the half-forward area. Nearly taken by Stoneham, but picked off by Evans. Evans kicked with his right foot, which is not his natural kicking foot. Gathered good ground, fighting for it. Wilson and Hinckley. Umpire very quickly on the scene, and will throw the ball in the air.
Peter Wilson, we think, has been reported for the second week in a row. Because he was reported for hitting Tony Liberatore last week at the game at the Western Oval.
Good conditions, so the umpire bounces on the ground. Taken away by Matera. Receiving from Banfield. Matera will go for goal. And Matera kicks a brilliant goal.
So the Matera magic is alive and well as we go back into the centre, and it's the Eagles through Kemp again, up towards the half-forward line, up towards a McIntosh and co. It bounces out the back door, through charges O'Reilly. Darcy got caught, but managed to get the hand pass away. Back to Kemp, couldn't take it cleanly. Couch was there. Now Mainwaring may get a chance, the hand pass comes wide. Mainwaring will have a shot. 52 metres from home. Tim Darcy gets back. Only to see one behind go on the board. Crowd rising and falling as that ball headed towards goal. David Hynes, interchange bench. Matt Clappe. Barnes in from the side. Oh, Kemp almost clashed with his teammate Evans there. Evans went down, but he's okay. Meantime, Couch takes the free. Gives it off to Steve Hocking, who runs to the centre circle. Flat-looking punt kick. Ablett.
Well,
read it beautifully.
Well, beaten by the kick there, wasn't he, Michael Brennan? He's kept on floating. It really went end over end the wrong way, that kick. Coming from Steve Hocking, who did such a good job last week on Derek Kickett.
Here it is. Flat-looking floater, isn't it?
Yes, it didn't come off the boot at all well, but as far as Gary Ablett was concerned, it was perfect.
This for his 120th goal for the season. Started it right. Never came back. So he's kicked 119 goals and 56 behind since Geelong moved to 4-2. The Eagles at 2-1.
165 shots at goal, Sandy. Pretty good effort from full forward. Great player, Gary Ablett. Mitchell White to kick it back in. Goes in short. A little bit risky. But the mark taken by Pike. Pike goes short again, and the mark is taken by Hart. I gave credit to Banfield for giving the hand pass to Matera, kicking the West Coast second goal, but it was David Hart. Look at McIntosh, already having an impact on this game. His third mark, Ashley McIntosh. Up to half forward, no mark taken. Eagles have got the players at ground level. Mainwaring and Evans combined. Evans kicks loose off the side of his boot. Half forward area. Taken by Matera. Dropped by Riccardi. Oh, Matera a bit stiff, I think.
Oh, no, I reckon it's a good decision, actually, Robbo. As soon as he knew he was about to be tackled, he threw his arms out and just gave up possession of the ball.
Fair enough, the ball with Peter Riccardi at centre-half back. He kicks Geelong into their forward half. No mark taken by Stoneham. Free kick against Jakovic. Advantage maybe with Geelong. It is. Scott's kick towards full forward. No mark taken. Brownless goes after it. Oh, really?
Come on.
Ordinary tackle. Now an attempted kick by Ablett has been penalised for kicking in danger.
Oh, they missed the first one. It was much too high on Mainwaring, Robbo.
Kemp on centre wing. Dean Kemp floating a kick up towards Godden, but Kenny Hinkley in front of him takes the mark. Plays on to Bairstow, drifts it into the middle. Riccardi's been busy early. The lightning left footer goes to half forward. Stoneham looking to get into the contest. Has plenty of help. Tudor and Poole. Stoneham. Tudor. Still on half forward. Now Brown has a fit of the fumbles. Kemp gets him. Worsfold working hard. Stoneham working hard. This is like a final. The umpires put away the whistle here. Evans through but without it. White hurried kick. Doesn't go very fast. Straight to Riccardi. Poole tries to go around the body and eventually finishes out of bounds on the outer side.
Riccardi seniority with 8 possessions against Matera. Matera, of course, kicked that terrific goal from the 50-metre. Matera's had 4 kicks and 2 hand passes.
You can feel the intensity, can't you? That ball, it's a hard one to win, and when you do, it's hot. Brown pumps it high, but it's very, very wide. But that's the way it should be, shouldn't it, Robbo?
Oh, my word. I think they're playing for big stakes here this evening. West Coast, well, their incentive, obviously, is to finish 3rd or 4th so they can play their first final here.
Yeah.
But Geelong, they must win. Forget about the margin. They just have to win if there to be any chance whatsoever of getting into the finals. Chance for Matera again. Look at this. How would you like him in the stall give? Off about 6 metres. Matera. In towards full forward. A little bit too short for Sumich. In goes McIntosh hard at the football. Well done, young Colbert. He stood up and was counted. Wilson goes after. Caught by Hinkley. A high kick and diving. O'Reilly does well. The last line of defence.
Matera, isn't he fantastic off that wing?
Great to watch.
Exciting player.
O'Reilly in the back pocket. Kicks it high. Out towards half back. Good mark. Excellent mark taken by Harding. Handball away for Banfield. Banfield short kick. Being held up at full forward. The umpire spotted a free kick. It's going to Sumich, is it?
I think it's going to Heady.
Heady,
Brett Heady, who's been picked up by Andrew Buse. The umpire did very well to spot that. A holding decision awarded to Brett Heady against Andrew Buse. And Brett Heady will be kicking from only about 30 metres out directly in front.
Well, after it being all Geelong in the opening minutes, this could be the Eagles' 3rd goal, and it'll make the difference just 7 points. Heady goes for goal from 30 metres out. He doesn't miss these. Brett Heady kicks his first goal. And a bit of a dust-up there between Andrew Buse. Geelong by 7 points.
Goal number 20 there for Brett Heady. Picked up by Andrew Buse, of course, captain Geelong for a couple of seasons. A regular state player for Victoria. 14 State of Origin games, Andrew Buse. And a very good player over the years for Geelong.
The Eagles fighting back in a thriller. Geelong are 4-2. The West Coast have kicked the last 3 goals. They're 3-1. We go back for the centre once again. It's Barnes and Harding, but Bairstow tries to take it out of the middle. Loses it once and then regains it. Gets a short kick just past Matera. The bouncing ball eludes Scott. Matera is quick. He's like lightning, as Robbo said. From half back. Spins round up towards centre wing. Close to the boundary line. Heady gets caught. Spills free towards Wilson. Too late for him. It's over the line.
Doing much better around the middle of the ground now, the West Coast Eagles. Gary Hocking there, of course, a late withdrawal from this Geelong side. what a loss he is. Been averaging around about 25, 26 possessions a game.
He's trained last night, by all reports. Trained okay, but obviously not prepared to take the risk. Jakovic has a free kick at half-back.
The other player sitting on the bench there next to Gary Hocking, Paul Brown. You mentioned that he fumbled just a couple of minutes ago, and Malcolm Blight not messing around.
No, he's paid the price. Jakovic's kick is very wide, probably too wide for Matera, and over the line. Wonderful crowd, and they're all feeling the pressure, including the Cats coach. Of course, the Cattery at Godinia Park, chock-a-block tonight with some 400 people. If you're enjoying the coverage on the big screens there, and you're probably far more comfortable in your coach as we speak. But it's a great night, balmy night, only a slight breeze favouring the left, but rather cool.
It is a weird setup when you think he's got to stand on a table with his two assistants.
Well, who knows, perhaps he may choose to, I don't know.
It's closer to the action, maybe?
Yeah, I think it'll be a matter of choice, Robbo.
Yeah.
Couch gets a quick kick out of that ruck contest. No mark taken by Mainwaring. Picked up quickly by Poole, but his kick, much to the delight of the West Coast fans out there, goes out on the full, and there's Mickey Malthouse with his assistants. Bernie, you know them all pretty well. Ian Miller, I think, was one of them.
Ian Miller, Tim Jepp, the other one.
High kick. Nearly the mark taken by McIntosh. Caught, dragged down by Scott. Play goes on. Geelong force it forward. Handball by Kemp was very good for Hart. Hart kicks quickly up towards half forward. Martin Contest. Oh, Heady! Fused body work, but Heady had his eyes on the football and has taken the mark. Away to McIntosh. McIntosh short. Mark taken by Steve Hocking.
Let himself down there, didn't he, Sandy, with that ordinary kick?
Yes,
McIntosh doing well, though, at centre-half forward.
He's still at half-back, Bertie. Now he kicks towards centre wing Steve Hocking. Dean Kemp. Again, poor delivery.
He's got a West Coast jumper on, Steve Hocking.
Still on half-back. Back towards centre wing. Jakovic at the moment is controlling Stoneham. And that is one avenue that no doubt the Cats would like to open up, whereas the Eagles, I'm sure Mick Malthouse would be delighted with Jakovic's work. Down the centre-half forward, some pushing and shoving going on once again.
There's Tim Darcy right into the middle of Waterman's back before the ball got within 5 metres. It would have been a free kick anyway if the ball had been there. We see this again. Darcy just bucked him in the middle of the back. And the free kick to be taken by Chris Waterman.
So this to come to within 1 point. The Cats.
I don't think Waterman was shy in trying to make the umpire aware of the little push either, was he?
Oh well. That's what he's got to do. Waterman from 45 metres. No, way to the left and really almost stunned to silence. Just really the sound of one hand clapping signifies it was not a goal.
He's on the bench, isn't he? Matt Clapper.
And how do you clap with one hand?
That's why it was so quiet, Ernest.
Kick in by O'Reilly, goes towards half-back for Geelong. Gathered by Barnes. Quickly, no, well done, Heady. Brilliant stuff, turn it over. Wilson gets his foot to the ball. In towards full forward, gathered by Waterman. Very, very clever. He's got some space. Snapshot for goal. Sumich being held, was he? Well done by O'Reilly. Forces a rush behind for the West Coast. Scoreline 4-2 plays 3-3. Geelong by 5 points. O'Reilly kicks in, finds Colvin in the left back pocket.
Just over 5 minutes remaining. Great work by Chris Mainwaring. Everyone's talked about the Cats being pumped up for this game, but my word, the West Coast are.
They've got on top right around the middle of the ground, haven't they? They've certainly controlled the centre bounces since about that 10-minute mark.
It's such a great advantage if they can get a final at home. Oh!
Yes, yes!
Great comeback by the West Coast Eagles, and Peter Sumich started the night with 398, now with 2 to move to 400.
Here's Kenny Hinkley. A high kick goes across the half-back line. The race is on. The ball bounces towards the West Coast goal. Bairstow, good pressure by Don Pike. The ball forced over for a throw-in in front of the Geelong bench, and Bairstow limping.
They made a change there too. Don Pike now picking up Mark Bairstow. Drew Banfield picking up Darren Steele.
What about those stats there, Bernie?
Early in the game, it was all Geelong. Robbo, it's probably...
Very telling, wasn't it? It set up that
early,
4 goals.
Very early.
Geelong go forward again. Here's a chance for Scott. Beaten for it by Hart, and Hart trundles it over for a boundary throw in. And there's Johnny Rogers down there, nearly got a kick. There's David Hart. Handball's 29 to 12. Geelong quite productive, but Bernie mentioned about the centre area. Couch and Bairstow were good early. They've been covered in the last few minutes. Barnes beaten for it by Harding. Harding went for it and then thumped it towards centre half forward. McIntosh one hand. After it again, Hughes is there for Geelong. McIntosh pushes him off it. Wilson's kick off the ground goes over for a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for West Coast. And Mickey Bolthouse now down on the boundary line. So approaching quarter time, 3.5 minutes left. It's been a very interesting first term, and West Coast have reached back the lead.
Yes, it's been tight and tense. First half dominated by the Cats, second half by the Eagles. It's in their attacking zone, and bear in mind that the general feeling is that Geelong is kicking with the aid of possibly a 1 to 2 goal breeze.
I think it has dropped a bit though, Sandy, having a look at that windsock.
Yep. Barnes up high. Hurried Hinkley kick goes to half back. Couch uses the body. Brownlow medalist recovers well, but his hand pass wasn't one of his best. Colbert's in desperate trouble. Tackling has been superb. Now a chance for Tudor. Gets away, up towards the centre wing. Pull. Twists out of trouble, does it nicely. He's 55 out. Goes into the pocket, in towards Ablett. Great spoil by Brennan, who's done a pretty good job on Ablett in recent times. And he's continuing that form as Malcolm Blight looks anxiously on at his champion.
Very indirect though, Sandy, wasn't it? Into that pocket.
Yes.
And Gary Ablett, as he did last week, really trying to do the body work rather than attacking the ball.
Mainwaring held whilst not in possession, although Leigh Tudor not happy. Can do nothing about it. So Mainwaring from the back pocket. The centre wing. McIntosh has been excellent. Couldn't complete the mark. Paul Harding goes off the ground. With him is his opposing big man, John Barnes, who ordered tape of Queen to fire him up for this game. Be interesting to see what effect it has.
Novel way of geeing yourself up.
Yes. Tudor. Stoneham forced to use the one hand. Bairstow a chance. Emmons may just get him. He does. But he's forced to pull the kick away to the left and into the pocket.
Yes, I think players can become a little bit too conscious of their full forwards, especially when they've kicked plenty of goals. Geelong have got to just grab every chance they can and go straight for the big sticks. Chance for West Coast to clear here. No, Brownless has got Pike. Pretty good tackle there by Billy Brownless. No free kick, so the umpire will have to bounce it on the ground. There's Gary Ablett and Brennan. And it's about 13 metres from the Geelong goal. So a chance for them with a minute left in the first term to score. Stoneham over the back. Quick kick by Jakovic. Kick forward by Geelong. It looks as though it might be a goal. It is. It's a Geelong goal, and it's been kicked by Steele. A terrific kick. Picking it up quickly and throwing it on his left foot.
That will give them something at Cardinia Park to cheer about.
Certainly will. We see this in replay there. Looking for Bairstow. Jakovic with a hurried kick away. Only as far as Darren Steele, the former North Melbourne player. And the hurried snap off the left boot. Right through the middle there. So terrific goal there for the Cats.
Inside the last minute of the first quarter, Barnes belts it out of the middle once again. Oh, he got caught. Did get the kick. Worsfold, a fine spoil. Down to Chris Mainwaring, who's had a busy quarter. Down to half forward. Perhaps there's time for the Eagles. Although Colbert gets a short kick towards Couch and Poole. It's Couch who takes it. Swings round onto the left foot. Stabs towards Billy Brownless, close to the boundary line. He's not on the boil yet, and he runs into trouble. He runs out of trouble. Kick slews off the side of the boot. Persistence by Mitchell White in the tackling department. Forsman into the middle. Bairstow. Only seconds remaining. Barnes has got to sprint the outer side. It's a wide ground. Taps it over, and Riccardi goes down. He's hurt. Riccardi's hurt behind play as the siren sounds.
perhaps just in time for Peter Riccardi. Could it be an ankle gone? It's quarter time. What a hectic first quarter it's been. The honour's pretty even. Geelong with 5-2. 32. Leading West Coast 4-3-27.
The name of the game is Australian.
It's quarter time here at the WACA in Perth. Geelong are 5-2-32. Peter Sumich is the only multiple scorer. He's got 2 for the Eagles. They trail by 5 points, 4-3-27.
Today's game is part of the Carlton and United Breweries 1993 AFL Premiership season.
And down on the boundary line is John Rogers. That ball was pretty hot in the first quarter, John.
Sandy, it went absolutely stone cold flat right in front of us. Matera took the mark and he held the ball up and it was as flat as a pancake, and they obviously had to change it. But both coaches very composed at quarter time. Actually, Malcolm Blight had a word with Barry Stoneham and he said, don't try to man-on-man with Jakovic. You've got to move around and get away from him. And he said that his side has lost their intensity, which he wants them to pick up again. As far as Mick Malthouse is concerned, he wants someone at the back of the pack at the throw-ins, careful of the way they're bringing to the forward line. He wants Sumich to hold his marks. He wants him to tighten up across the centre and stop Geelong's run out of defence.
Yes, thank you, John. The Cats will be very keen for Stoneham and Ablett to fire. They also miss Tim McGrath across that half-back line. A couple of performers quickly. Peter Matera, that was a fine effort.
There's Peter Matera, also one brilliant goal, that goal from the 50-metre line.
So here we go, the second quarter at the WACA. It's pretty much even Stevens. Geelong just with their nose in front. Matera, caught. Play on is the call. Harding gets it out of the centre with a short kick. Only travels 25 metres and Brown takes the mark. He's called to play on. McIntosh may get a chance. He's claimed. Ball spills free once again. The Eagles surging towards their half-forward line. Pike leads in the race for the ball, but he's under plenty of pressure from Riccardi. Obviously recovered after that ankle injury just before quarter time.
Wilson's got to be a little bit careful. He's very
keen at the moment, isn't he,
overzealous, yes, with
just
everything.
giving away silly free kicks.
Riccardi just on the defensive side of centre wing.
Nice to see him recover too. That looked a little dangerous, a little awkward.
Still limping slightly, Robbo, there, Peter Riccardi.
Barnes up to half forward. Stoneham. First grab for the night. 60 metres out. Ablett at full forward. Stoneham, a long drop punt. Ablett and Brennan, they're both holding each other. It bounces over the back. 5-3, plays 4-3.
And Mitchell White to kick it back into play. Bernie, what would you do if Brennan insists on this body-on-body with Ablett? How would you try and solve that problem?
Well, Gary Ablett just has to lead all the time.
Move around a bit more.
It seemed as if Gary Ablett really wants a body-on-body to me at the moment, Robbo.
Fair enough. Stoneham, his kick in towards full forward. Chance here for Ablett. He's grabbed. Surely that's a free kick, isn't it? Never had the football. Got it again. Now the ball spills. Banfield for Pike. In turn Kemp. Brilliant player, Kemp. The kick not all what he would have desired. Bounces free on the wing. Matera. Look at this. He forces it forward. And eventually goes over in front of he and Peter Riccardi. And a boundary throw will take place. It's between wing and left half forward for the West Coast. Probably 2 kicks, maybe 2.5 kicks from their goal. Ruck contest. Been a pretty evenly contested one, that too, between Barnes and Hardy. The ball forced over for another throw-in. 6 points the difference in favour of the Cats early in the second term. Harding in front. Matera bashes it clear. Chance now for Banfield. Can't get clear. Ball still there. Young Colbert. Handball over the top. Bairstow. That's deep as a throw. Well, I think you'd have to have another look at that. But anyway, the umpire's decision is final. The free kick will go to Matera. He's on centre wing.
Let's have another look.
Yeah, no, good decision, Robbo. He certainly threw that left hand back.
Ball was wide, but it's not wide enough. Waterman has it. He's on left half forward. Sumich goes into the pocket, but he's looking to centre it.
Well done, McIntosh.
All on his own.
He went back, Sandy, towards the goal square, and his Geelong opponent went with him, and then just at the last split second, ducked forward and gave Waterman a target.
He's been a thorn so far. You Here he comes now, McIntosh.
Yeah, that's one man you cannot afford to give any latitude. Sandy on the forward line, Ashley McIntosh. Big job for Colbert.
This to level the scores. 48 metres. Wasn't a pretty kick off the boot. One behind. That's his first score of the night. And the Eagles creep one behind closer. O'Reilly back in the lineup. Prodigious kicker of the ball. Almost down to centre wing. Colbert tries to belt it further forward, but it goes straight to Donny Pike. Pike up towards Heady. That's danger. Darcy chances his arm. Gets a little tap away to Hughes. Hughes back towards Darcy once again. Now he's got support in Colbert, who does get it out. Back looking for Darcy. Waterman lost it. Little chip forward. McIntosh. Hughes runs into trouble and tries to escape out the back door. Eventually does to Colbert, but he gets it to Trevor Poole. Poole goes on with the job to Couch. Still on half-back ball, Couch. To Poole. Oh, they're running out of options. They're going to lose the football. And they do as Mainwaring bursts clear. Comes to within 55 metres. Centering kick to Heady.
Some important pressure from the West Coast Eagles across half-back there, Sandy. Mainwaring. Dean Kemp, last year's best and fairest winner. Chris Waterman applying the tackle there. Mainwaring doing pretty well on the wing, as is Matera on the other wing. And of course, Geelong in, well, a certain amount of trouble with Peter Riccardi with that ankle problem.
And also this player is going to give Andrew Hughes a bit of a headache by the time the evening's over, I reckon.
This to lead by a point. Brett Heady. He's kicked one. And they lead by a point.
So the umpire with the football back in the centre. Terrific bounce. Harding up high, gets the tap out. Bairstow can't break clear. Steele a chance. Tries to crash his way through. Dispossessed. Matera. Handball. Forsman. He went blindly in the Scott direction. Tudor caught. The tackling has been very good. Reasonably fair. Forsman. Mainwaring took it off him. Grabbed by Stoneham. Kicked by Evans. By gee, that ball's hot. Up towards the half-forward area for West Coast. Darcy flips it clear of his opponent there in Wilson.
I think they've made a change here too, Robbo. They've made a change along with Tim Darcy going on to Brett Heady and Andrew Hughes picking up Chris Waterman.
Well, finals football doesn't come much tighter than this. Barnes to Bairstow. And he runs to centre wing and he kicks the half-forward and he wants Ablett. He's going to get a free kick pulled off the ball. Pulled out of the contest, and Ablett will have a shot directly in front.
Brennan took his arm out of that contest there. We see him in replay. Gary Ablett leading for the ball on this occasion, and Brennan across that right arm just not allowing Gary Ablett to fly for that mark.
So Gary Ablett for the hoots in the crowd here at the WACA. Oh, he's away to the left and one behind. Yes, Malcolm, it sums it up. Sums it up.
Well, these two kicks that he's kicked behinds with really should have both been goals. He's a better kick than that.
Scores are level here at the WACA if you've just joined us. 5-4 apiece in a thriller. Jakovic runs into Riccardi. Stoneham comes over the top. Forsman came onto the ground last week and added plenty of bite and pace for the Cats. Violence, Riccardi and Bairstow, who combined with him down to the 50-metre line. Oh, that's too high. Got to be a free kick to Drew Banfield.
I'll tell you what, there was a terrific nearly half volley there by Don Pike.
Banfield's kick to centre wing. Colbert tries to use the body, runs to his teammate Steele. Waiting down was Kemp, goes into the middle and Hart's got a bit of time to have a look up to half-forward, but it slews off the side of the boot. Muddy Waters has got to run. Oh, he controlled that ball beautifully. Waterman kicks the half-forward and Darcy heads for the boundary line. Great control.
This surface here at the WACA is in fantastic condition, as we said earlier.
I think that move of Darcy onto Heady, Hughes giving away a few centimetres maybe.
Yes, exactly. He was being beaten overhead, wasn't he, Robbo?
Yep. Barnes quickly wide of that ruck contest. Kemp and Steele, the ball forced over for a throw-in. Very good player, Dean Kemp for the West Coast. He's had an interrupted season. 17.5 minutes left in the second term. The match evenly poised. Harding doing well in the ruck work against Barnes. Geelong will get clear. Brown combining with Buse. Buse kick across his body. Worsfold, and Mainwaring eventually forced over the line by Forsman. Boundary throw-in will take place. Integral part of the West Coast lineup was Chris Mainwaring. Boundary throw-in centre wing on the far side of the ground. Harding and Barnes. Ball nearly with Kent, taken by Couch, away to Barnes. Barnes gives away a little bit of ground. So does Steve Hocking, but Brown has the ball in the clear. He kicks it high, inside 50 metres. Marking contest, Mitchell White can't take it. Gathered by Ablett, dragged by Brennan. Play goes on and Brennan will clear for West Coast. He goes straight down the ground. Marking contest, ball at the back. Falling over was young Colbert. Steve Hocking and Wilson. Wilson's got it, spins out of trouble, dispossessed, well done young Colbert. Ball with Waterman, back he goes to McIntosh. A right foot kick by that player, no mark taken, free kick picked out. And Geelong will receive it, it's against Peter Sumich, and it will go to Barnes.
Johnny Barnes, it's the hand pass away to O'Reilly. Ball goes back to Barnes again. Somewhat loath to kick it, he'd like to get a hand pass away, which would put Bernie Quinlan on tenterhooks. Brown on centre wing. Now Trevor Poole round his body. Up to Couch. Can't take it cleanly, the Brownlow medalist. He's got support. Robert Scott runs the boundary line. Has a bounce. The Cats go inside 50 once again, but only as far as Don Pike. And he's very, very solid.
That'll be 50, Sandy, against Mark Bairstow.
Done well, Pike.
No, it won't be 50. I thought the umpire was racing in there to apply that 50-metre penalty. I thought Bairstow was a little bit late with that after Pike had taken the mark.
One of only 3 Eagles to play every game so far this year. Others being Wilson and Glenn Jakovic. Trevor Poole's on the other side. Gee, they're going to give the record crowd a nudge here tonight. It stands at just over 30,000. Interestingly enough, it's for the Eagles and the Cats. White gets there, not quite in time, one behind. So Barry Stoneham getting into the game a little more in this second quarter after a very quiet start.
Kick in goes to this near side, and it's not bad either. It's into the path of Worsfold, Johnny Worsfold. Ordinary kick. Mark taken by Riccardi. Darcy, back to Riccardi, sweeps onto the left foot, got past Heady, and thumps Geelong into attack, centre half forward. Oh, terrific mark by Ablett.
That's what Gary Ablett has to do, Robbo, isn't it?
Well,
on the lead, he's unstoppable, Gary Ablett, but once he starts that body-on-body stuff, as he did last week with Dustin Fletcher.
But it gets set up down here, though, doesn't it?
Oh,
you know,
it's a great
Riccardi sweeping onto the left foot, and he gets great penetration, gives this man the chance to jump, and he's got great hands. So he's got the chance. No, this kick goes away to the left. And it's through for his third behind. So the Cat fans waiting back in Melbourne are still anxious about Gary Ablett's first goal for the evening, as Don Pike kicks it back into play.
Wants Jakovic. Finds him. On half-back. He's been excellent. Round the body he goes. Forsman intercepts White. Forsman tries to sneak away. Couch, delightful hand pass to Leigh Tudor. 60 out, short pass is good. Billy Brownless is tucked in the pocket. Distance won't be a problem, but the accuracy may be.
A bit of weight this year, I think, Billy. He's certainly filling out those shorts.
Oh, you're a tough man. He enjoys it. 50 metres for Brownless. No, Billy. Not boiling tonight.
I think Bernie's comment put him off.
Not surprised. Out on the pull. But he's a tough man, the Brownlow medalist.
Oh, you can't compromise on fitness, Andy.
Well, they're getting a few chances, the Cats, but they're unable to take advantage. Barnes comes over the top with a mighty fist. In the meantime, a free kick's been picked out. Harding was in the front of that pack. Who's it going to go to?
I think it's going to Harding.
So I've copped one a little high. Just taking a bit of time there.
It's been a great performer for the Eagles this year, Paul Harding. Played a lone hand in the ruck.
Might have hurt him too, because he got the hand pass to Jakovic, who gets his kick to centre wing. Barnes!
Away he goes for Steve Hocking. Quickly, Steve Hocking forced to blast away, and and the ball falls in short, and Evans takes the mark. Evans forced to go long, close to the boundary line. Oh, great mark taken by Darcy. It was set up for him, but he still had to take it, and he did it nicely. His left foot kick into the centre. Oh, that's a free kick, surely. It's against Mainwaring. No free kick. Well,
the advantage was paid.
Ablett overruns it. Evans back there. Jakovic just gets his foot to the ball, bounces into the centre. Taken by Riccardi. He bangs it back into a goal-scoring distance. At the back, Stoneham. Stoneham gets the goal. So Cat fans now have got something to shout about down there at Kardinia Park. And gee, have a look at them. There's a lot of pleasure there as Stoneham kicks his first goal for the evening.
It's Big Barry playing at centre-half forward. Interesting duel with Jakovic. Pretty quiet early in that first quarter. Barry Stoneham had no influence on the game, but, well, he is a class player. Spent 3 weeks on the sidelines after he was suspended, but has been a consistent goal kicker since his return.
Harding to do the ruck work. Let's get out of the way to Paul Couch. He's up against Johnny Barnes and beats him. Gives it to Pike, who whisks the Eagles out of the centre. McIntosh could have almost been held there, but he plays on it, somehow gets it to Heady. Heady gives it away, and that's going to be the quick answer. Straight to Godden, who puts it through. Goal for goal here at the WACA. The Eagles answering. Harding again does battle with Barnes. This time it's the Geelong man who wins it. But Mainwaring gives it to his skipper, who goes towards McIntosh, down towards half forward. McIntosh still charges. He's inside 50, pulling it into full forward. Sumich at the back. Can he get clear? Was he held? It's touched and one behind.
Look.
What a game.
I don't think that was a free kick. It's no use complaining, Peter Sumich.
Well, what do you think here, Bernie?
No, look, it was just contest, man on man. What do you think, Robbo? Do you think it was a free kick?
No, I tend to agree with you. I think fair enough. We are playing a tough game of football, a tight game of football. The kick-in goes to this near side of the ground. Matera, who's been out of it for the last few minutes, taps it to his own advantage and then runs away. Little tap on the ground. He may get caught. Oh no, he slips the tackle and slips the hand pass to Jakovic. Jakovic from the centre of the ground. Bombs away. Who likes these? No one. Up on the forward line. And sets it up for the Geelong defence to bang it away. Steve Hocking caught by Sumich. Still there, and Steve Hocking does well. The ball bouncing in favour of that player, and he's kicked towards left half forward. No, free kick. Jakovic tries to get it to Mitchell White. The ball is still there. The Geelong player being asked to force it clear. No, he's going to get the free kick, Big Billy. And he's got it at left half forward. He kicks it in towards full forward. Ablett, great mark by Gary Ablett on his chest.
Yeah, that's better from Gary Ablett. He's now leading with some sort of conviction. He tried to outbody Michael Brennan early in the contest. First quarter was body on body, but now Gary leading, fully committed to that lead and looking much better.
So with 10 minutes left in the first half, Gary Ablett yet to kick a goal. From 30 metres. There's silence, so it must be a goal. It is.
No silence in Geelong. The social club grab as Ablett gets his first.
And now 120 goals for the season for Gary Ablett. First goal this evening. He kicked 3 behinds previous to that. There's the attempted spoil by Michael Brennan. But he's a great athlete, Gary Ablett. Terrific mark out in front of his body.
Back in the middle once more. Will the Eagles answer the challenge as they did before? Barnes tries to get it out of the middle. It's like Couch at the bottom. Fryer ball. No. Whittle or middle, I know, Bernie. Let me go for a minute too. Still in the centre. Harding and Barnes, Pike. Hurried kick round his body up to half forward. Oh, clever mark taken by young Paul Brown. That half back. Kicks long, where he's certainly dropping. Stoneham was a target, got a hand to it. Stoneham recovers beautifully. Oh, Bairstow was a little too flash for him, was it? Matera caught.
Great tackle,
Fine tackle.
Great that tackle by Big Barry Stoneham.
So the Cats just surging again at the moment. Ablett lurking in the forward line. They back into him. And a solid. Djakovic has been wonderful. Mitchell White will clear.
And he's got no one to kick to, so he's got to kick it high out in the area of the wing, and it's punched away out there over for a boundary throw-in. Ernie the Eagle made such a sensational entry into this WACA oval. Barnes and Harding, Kemp can't get it clear. Kick off the ground, or attempted by Poole, taken by Mainwaring. A kick off the side of his boot on purpose. Now the race is on. Views gather. Can't control the football. Through comes Wilson. Chance for Waterman. The ball will not come up for him. And over the top goes Views. Well done by Andrew Views. Scragging and chasing. Wilson in the action. Close to the boundary line. Leaves it behind. And eventually it's taken over by Views for a throw-in about 40 metres around from the Eagles' goal.
There's a big chance here, Robbo, if that ball had have sat nicely for Chris Waterman.
Like a bit of soap, wasn't it?
Boundary throw-in.
Up for him.
Ruck contest. Barnes takes it out of the air. Taken away by Heady. What can he do? A lovely little kick to the front of the goals. O'Reilly under pressure from Sumich. O'Reilly still got the football. Gets the handball away. Well done, Bairstow. Got back to help out. The kick goes out near the wing. Mainwaring and Poole. Mainwaring paddles the ball in front of himself. From 50 metres. Away goes Chris Mainwaring. And he's kicked the goal of the night so far.
1 point the margin. Sensational goal to Chris Mainwaring. Barnes belts it out of the centre down to half forward. Djakovic is there. Been like the rocket Gibraltar. Here's Mainwaring. Again, he might have another run here. Soccers off the ground, goes 25 metres.
I think he's got a new opponent there too, young Paul Lynch. He was an emergency, came into the side with Gary Hocking.
Yep.
Of course, it's a tragic loss for Geelong. Gary Hocking out of the side with a back injury.
Quite wanted to scoot away, but a free kick's been picked up. It's going to come back to Barnes for some infringing going on there, and the big man will take it. On the defensive side of centre wing, this very wide WACA ground, and free kicks usually tend to even themselves out. Half forward.
Bit of a nudge, I think, against Billy there, Sandy.
Well, right, White has it towards McIntosh. Maybe a little too wide for him. Was he held? The umpire says yes. And McIntosh will take it on centre wing. Been an excellent player.
Sandy's about, 6'4" or 6'5" in the old language, just 18 years of age, and so agile.
Great future. The knees and everything hold up. One of the game's most exciting players. His father could play as well. Scott to Barnes. Look out, Barnesy. In a bit of trouble. He weaves it wide. Wanted Steele. Eventually found him. Now Lynch is in trouble. Look at that tackling. Sensational stuff. It spells the Mainwaring. He's kicked one magnificent goal from here. He has a bounce. 45 metres out. Heads for home again. Yes!
Well, there's 6 minutes left in the first half. Barnes gets the punch out of the centre, taken by Djakovic. Very quickly onto the left foot, then kick off the ground, out towards centre wing. Overrunning it was Wilson, getting back Steve Hocking. In trouble though, and eventually forced over. Banfield did well to get in there. And
almost a throw there, Robbo, wasn't it?
Yes, it could have nearly been deemed a throw. Boundary throw in centre wing. Well, I don't quite know whether the atmosphere is any better or worse here or in Adelaide. When the goals were kicked by Mainwaring, the last 2 goals, this crowd just erupts. Love the West Coast Eagles. Boundary throw in right half forward flank for Geelong.
Mind you, Robbo, they weren't bad jails, were they?
Terrific stuff by Mainwaring.
Station. Forsman went without him. Worthmold back in business. Coming back after injury, the skipper. Is it safely over the line?
David Hynes playing across half forward now for the Eagles. He did start off on the interchange bench.
Yes,
being picked up by Paul Brown.
Stoneham taken by Kemp. Couldn't get it away. Back to Stoneham again. He's got a bit of room finally getting clear. Ablett used the body and it's belted away from him by Mitchell White. Well done.
Wonderful support there by the Eagles. Mitchell White playing on Billy Brownless. Saw the danger, got back there quickly, thumped it away from Gary Ablett.
And at the moment, he Cats throwing everything at the Eagles, and the Eagles are withstanding the pressure, and withstanding it very well. Whoops, went without it. That could prove costly, but Steele kicks wide and somewhat blindly. So maybe young Drew Banfield can breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, that comes with just the fact that the tackling is so quick and so effective, you just can't afford to fumble, and the players realise that, and he's trying to get in and out of a situation quickly and leave it behind.
Fair build-up too.
McIntosh now down in the square too, Sandy, playing it in the full forward position. Sumich out about 30 metres from the goal.
Barnes and Harding. Steele at the back. And over the line he goes with Banfield on the ball. So another throw in.
They may have a height problem with that Geelong defence, with Paul Brown picking up Hynes. Colbert still on McIntosh. O'Reilly on Sumich.
Stoneham and Jakovic. Well, he lost it again. Banfield. Steele almost threw it out to Stoneham, but he was on the blind side. That's a centering kick. Robert Scott can't quite get there in time. Harding stood his ground and did well. A high kick towards Heady in the middle. Got a little too far underneath it with Darcy. Hynes looking to get into the action after starting on the bench. Heady does well to try and get it out to Wilson. Couldn't quite scoop it forward. Steve Hocking out the back door. From the middle, goes to half forward towards Tudor and Evans. It's the latter with an effective spoil. Now Banfield has it. It's the hand pass away. Well, that's a poor kick by Dean Kemp. Couch may make him pay. Jakovic, Ablett will make him pay. And he does. Deathly silence here at the WACA, but they'll be happy at Cardinia Park as Ablett kicks his second. And again, the margin is one behind.
2 goals, 3 now to Gary Ablett. Jakovic desperately trying to get back there. Ordinary kick there from Dean Kemp across half-back for the West Coast Eagles. Paul Couch pops it long into that forward line. Jakovic just couldn't keep his footing. Brennan also not able to recover quickly enough to stop that goal from Ablett.
Bernie, there'd have to be something wrong with Hinkley, wouldn't there, if he's on the bench?
You would think so, Robbo, because across half-back, McGrath also out of the side from last week, of course, suspended. And that's 2 very good players from half-back off for the Geelong side.
Pike kicks it up towards centre-half forward. Sumich gets it to Wilson. Wilson gives it away. Darcy, composed. Wilson a little rattled. Bairstow, a high kick out towards the wing. Matera pushes Riccardi out of the road. But Peter Riccardi's got the last laugh so far. Matera went back after it, but Banfield gathers. And off the left foot, Banfield's kick. Centre-half forward, no mark. Bairstow getting back, helping the defenders out, and the mark is taken by Forsman, looking to sweep onto the favourite left foot. Now he does so, in towards the centre, and a wobbly old kick, floating towards half forward. It's picked off pretty easily. Kemp, Evans, and now Worsfold with that right leg very, very heavily strapped. The kick is all right, and finds Wilson just forward of centre wing.
Under 2 minutes remaining. Wilson steadies to Don Pike. Got Kemp running with him, but elects to take the kick up towards McIntosh territory at half forward, and also high. It's the latter who takes the mark.
Well, they've restructured that forward line, as I said, Sandy. McIntosh now playing right in the goal square. Sumich out about 30-40 metres from goal. And Hynes playing across half forward on Paul Brown. And as I said, it may be a little bit of a height problem there for Paul Brown.
And I think this guy's a little underrated too.
Yeah, it's not a bad player.
Triple premiership player with Port Adelaide. David Hynes. It's going to be touch and go. Just swings it into the behind.
Sometimes that happens, you know, when an underrated player who's been sitting on the bench comes onto the ground. The player that picks him up, just not quite sharp, and that guy maybe in 5 minutes could turn the game.
Scores level, Robbo, with just over a minute to play, and another fine kick out by O'Reilly.
Certainly was, good distance, well outside the 50-metre area. Lynch gathers, little hand pass Couch, a sweeper, but he gives the ball away. It's Hynes getting back, left foot kick to centre half forward. Banfield, fortunate bounce, he gets his right foot to it, up towards full forward. Sumich bustled out of the road. Heady gets into the action. Brett Heady, Sumich, left foot, misses. Sumich, 2 goals, 1. Difference, 1 point. Half a minute left. Might be all tied up at half time, and we've got to start all over again. Stephen O'Reilly. Another lovely long kick, well outside 50 metres. Marking contest, no. Wilson there, gets it back to Harding. Harding's kick. Not very well controlled at all. It's out on the full. The free kick for the Cats at left half back.
Steve Hockey finds his skipper.
Had a lot of the ball. Sandy, kick number 17 for Mark Bairstow.
He's been busy. Over the centre. Unable to pull it in. Forsman somehow threads his way through some heavy traffic. He does well. Goes with a long kick down towards Ablett. With him is Brennan. Sock it off the ground. And right across the face of goal as the sirens sound. So no score there for Gary Ablett. He kicked a couple for the quarter. But on the other side of the ledger, Chris Mainwaring kicked a couple of hurlers. And what a ball game we've got here at Cardinia Park.
The umpire heard the siren.
He hasn't heard the siren.
Neither one of the umpires have heard the siren.
Now they have. Bazza Stone says, oh, look, I'll just kick a quick goal. But of course it will not count.
That'd be interesting, you know, if they had thrown it in a bit quicker and Geelong had have scored.
Well, if the umpire hasn't heard the siren, then it's got to stand because it's up to the umpire to end the half. Finally, he has done it. It is half-time in a thrill of the West Coast are 8-7, 55. They lead by 1 point. The Cats are 8-6, 54.
The name of the game is Australia.
Wherever you may be watching our telecast, I hope you're enjoying this big game. The West Coast 8-7, 55. Geelong are 8-6, 54. But it's interesting to note they're about to start the halftime entertainment, and the wind has obviously changed slightly because we can see some smoke blowing across the ground now to the right, gentlemen, can we not?
Do you think that's going to have an impact on the game? I mean, both sides have been able to score at either end of the ground, no matter whether you think the wind's blowing down to the left or the right.
I don't think so. I think what we're seeing here is just
terrific
final
footy,
pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is the final, of course, for Geelong, isn't it? If they lose tonight, that's it.
Well, one thing's for sure, I don't think they're going to win by 57 points that everyone's talked about.
I don't think they would ever have entered their mind, Sandy.
They've just got to try and win, don't they?
Go with the men with the mission to win the game, and then hope that maybe the result went their way on Sunday.
Well, they started like...
Well, they did. They had about 4 goals
shots
on
out
the
of the
board.
game, 4-1, and then
Terrific
suddenly... but full credit to the Eagles the way they came back.
Bairstow and Couch got them going around the middle of the ground, and I think that's like any team that scores quickly have to have those midfielders using the ball, and we just saw Mark Bairstow there. I think this could be the goal that Mainwaring kicks.
Yeah, that's an amazing goal.
The 2 goals he kicked, Bernie, were just that one in particular.
That one, yeah.
On the run across his body, it's gone 50 metres. And then just about, 3 or 4 minutes later, he did the same thing.
Well, really, Robert, they've got 2 inspirational wingers, haven't they, the West Coast?
Yeah.
Matera kicked that terrific running goal from the 50-metre line in the first quarter. And this is the other goal that Mainwaring kicked from just inside the 50-metre arc again after that magnificent tackle from David Hynes. And they were 2 really team-lifting goals there from Chris Mainwaring.
But getting back to Geelong, I mean, well, I think we expect these match stats to be fairly even, although Geelong have had quite a few more hand passes. But Bairstow has been a terrific player. He's had something like about 22 possessions already in the first half.
Also the hit-outs too, Robbo. Barnes getting just on top, as you said, in the break there, on top of Harding in that second part of the second quarter. Centre breaks also in favour of Geelong.
And Harding, we also noticed that Harding was hit quite heavily just about halfway through that second term, and it may have had an effect on his performance.
Look at Jakovic and Pike, they've been sensational.
Well, Jakovic was terrific early, but I thought Stoneham got back into the game in that second quarter, gave Geelong something to work towards.
9 kicks there from a forward there with McIntosh too. Pretty good stats on playing on young Colbert. But apart from that, I don't think Johnny Worsfold's 100%. That left, right leg very heavily bandaged, the thigh or groin problems that he's had and missed a couple of weeks.
And usually by this stage of the game, Bernie would have crunched a few players.
Yeah, exactly. He just hasn't had the same impact on the game. But Mark Bairstow has had a lot of the ball. 17 kicks. Has been a prolific ball winner for the Cats right throughout the season. Riccardi's had an interesting duel with Matera, Robbo.
Yeah, just before quarter time, Riccardi went down with a bit of an ankle injury, we thought it was. But look at Gary Ablett, 2 goals from 8 kicks. Now, I think he's got to be a little bit more productive than that. You know, if he's going to get 8 kicks up at full forward, he's got to get a better return.
His conversion rate's been pretty ordinary tonight. He had 3 behinds on the scoreboard before he kicked a goal. But Andrew Hughes ran into trouble on Heady. Heady kicked a couple of goals. Hinkley off the ground, as you mentioned during the call, Robbo. So that is a strange one. He must be injured to be on the interchange bench.
He's too good a player, I think. He'd be in that 18 that
the other one, Robert Scott, not getting enough of the ball either for Geelong.
True.
Yep. Very quiet.
And Billy
Brownless.
Big Billy.
Billy Brownless.
Thought he had a few extra kilos on Bernie.
He's certainly got a few extra kilos. Playing for his future, Billy.
He's a rough man, Bernie, Sandy.
Oh, he certainly is. He's a very tough man indeed. But you're quite right. I think Billy may be playing for his future. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll be previewing another big game that's coming up on 7. It's the Pies journeying to Football Park.
It's the name of the game.
Round 22 promises to be a memorable one. On Sunday, a packed Football Park will host the big game between Adelaide and Collingwood. It could all come down to that match. It's been a sellout now for weeks, and Max Stevens tells us in this report that for the first time that game is going to be televised live in South Australia. So certainly great news for Crow fans as we take that report from Max.
The Crows won't have it all their own way on Sunday. The old black and white has a huge following in South Australia, more so than any other team outside South Australia. When we took the issue to the streets of Adelaide, there were mixed emotions.
I'm a Collingwood fan, that's the only thing, but I reckon they might win. I don't really know.
Yeah, they'll win.
Crows going to win?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't support the Crows.
Who do you follow?
Hawthorn.
They should romp it in, mate, I reckon. 60 points, 10 goals, easy.
How do you reckon the Crows will go on Sunday?
Should win it, mate, should win it. They need to, don't they?
Quick question about the Crows.
How much will they pay me?
Well, I'd like to see them win.
Crows, Magpies, some folk here weren't even sure what we were talking about.
I'm a Queenslander, I'm a rugby league man.
I think too much Gestapo here, SS, in Adelaide.
On the serious side, Crows captain Chris McDermott says for he and his teammates, there's never been a more important game.
We know that now our destiny is in our own hands. If we can win this week and turn things around from last week, then we make the finals. So the feeling around the place is still pretty good, and while disappointed to lose, we're confident that we can turn it around this week, and it's just a matter of getting back and hitting the ball hard and getting there first, and I'm sure we can make amends.
Adelaide's 20 won't be finalised until minutes before the game, as there's still a concern over injuries to Rodney Maynard, Ben Hart and Mark Visca. Adelaide was slaughtered by Hawthorn last week in the first half. Their attitude will need to be different come Sunday. And keep in mind, Collingwood is the only team the Crows have never beaten.
With any good running side like a Hawthorn or like a Collingwood have the runners like the Francises, the Russells, the McGuans, it's just important that they have a direct opponent, and that when they've got the hold of the footy that you're alongside them, or you don't give them the 20 or 30 yards that I guess some opponents can get, because they can destroy you. If you give them any sort of space, players like that can just destroy you. So it's important that we're just accountable for our individual opponent.
Yes, Chris McDermott speaking there with Max Stevens. He's a wag, Max, when you put him in a crowd, but an excellent report. And of course it's going to be a great test for the Crows. As Max said, Collingwood, the only side that hasn't been beaten by the Crows. The Crows, however, as the Pies are fully aware, are a very tough nut to crack, though, on their home turf at Football Park. Last week against Carlton, the Pies blew their chance to claw back into the 6. And now, after a big week on the track, it comes down to this. In the final home and away match of the year, beat the Crows in Adelaide to become part of the finals action for the 5th time in 6 years. But what an ask, beating the Crows and more than 45,000 parochial fans.
Friendly bunch over there too.
Aren't they? Very charismatic people.
I just can't believe I used to come from there.
The Pies have done the impossible before at Football Park. Last year in round 9 they came from behind in the last term to snatch a thrilling 5-point win. In fact, Collingwood hasn't lost to the Crows. But Kelly knows a big improvement is needed to keep that record intact.
We haven't really won the big ones, the sides, there haven't been any sides above us since Hawthorn, so that is a concern. But like I said, even in those other games, some of our footy's been terrific. It's just getting those 4 quarters together. I mean, personally, myself, I've got to start to get the ball, and a few of the other guys, so we're flat out, and there'll be some interesting moves made this week, I think, by Leigh, and it'll be a great game.
And Kelly says the coach hasn't pulled any punches at training this week.
Lee's really put it on me, so I've got to just answer the challenge.
Kelly hopes the hard work on the track this week will pay dividends in Sunday's cutthroat match.
when we train hard during the week, we play well and play hard, and that's what we're going to have to do. We're really going to have to block it up, play hard and physical.
Do you think you can stitch them up?
We'll beat them.
Craig Kelly, quietly confident. Remember, of course, that the Pies were on the top of the ladder early in the season. I think it was after 7 rounds. They were standing at 6-1, and people were saying shades of 1990. Now, they are just fighting desperately for a finals berth. All that action, though, is coming away on 7. So is the second half from the WACA when we return.
It's the name of the game.
That's the way it should be, as the Cats are back out on the ground. The Eagles have just returned as well, and also on the boundary line is John Rogers. John?
Oh, Sandy, it's been a little difficult trying to hang around doors and make it look like you're not listening to what's going on, but as far as the Geelong are concerned, a very, very positive mood as the players came out from their half-time. The breeze has swung a little bit, and I sort of asked their runner what the basic message from Malcolm Blight was, and he said, look, we're not going defensive. The game is going to stay open, and he said ostensibly we're going to run and we're going to go for it. No way we're going to shut the game down. I think the main concern as far as the Eagles are concerned is the way they're bringing the ball out of defence, Sandy. The word went out a little way through that second quarter that they want long kicks out of defence. You'll recall on a couple of occasions they kicked the ball short. It was marked by Geelong forwards, and the Eagles were made to pay rather dearly for it. So you can expect to see the Eagles kicking the ball fairly long out of defence. And of course, when it gets down into the forward line, it is imperative that marks are taken. And the first half, ostensibly, that hasn't happened. And you can look to the Eagles forward line, try to hold their marks better than they were doing in the first half.
Thank you, John Rogers, on the boundary line with a comprehensive report. We're just about set to go in the second half. Bernie, have you any reason to change your selection? You picked the West Coast Eagles after Gary Hocking did not take his place in the lineup.
Well, it's still touch and go. Of course, the first 10 minutes in this third quarter, very important, Sandy, but I still think the West Coast Eagles have got the firepower up on the forward line. As has Geelong. I shouldn't just look at the West Coast Eagles forward line, because if Stoneham can take control, and also Ablett, well, anything can happen. But I think the West Coast, certainly around the centre of the ground and on the wings, were starting to take control.
So here we go. The second half at the WACA in Perth is just a point the difference. In a thriller, Barnes goes at it, but it's Kemp who takes it out of the centre, down to the half-forward line. Fine mark by Steve Hocking. It just stuck in the one hand. He had a good first half. Kicks into the middle. Stoneham comes over the top.
And it's also good to see him leading around a bit too, Sandy.
Scott in trouble.
Trying too much body-on-body stuff with Djakovic in that first half.
Scott limps away. Stoneham came right over the top of him. Ablett is the target. He's the meat in the sandwich because Mitchell White came from behind. Now White recovers. He leaves it for Matera, who dashes clear. Hooks it up towards centre wing. The big man Harding's got a sprint. Going with him is Couch. Harding does well as he belts it clear. Down towards Hynes on centre wing. Tried to give it back to Harding. Couch is still wearing him like a glove. Couch does well. Kemp's tackle almost high. Oh, it's gone for holding the ball. And it's gone against Lynch.
It was good work by the big man there, wasn't it?
Yes, terrific.
Harding with that sprint with Paul Couch. Gee, he showed some pace.
Just persistent. Now Kemp has it. Goes up towards Heady on half forward. Fisted away by Darcy over the line. The throw.
It's a terrific example of what you hear Gerard Healy always harp on about taking marks out in front of your face.
Yeah,
Heady
right.
went for the chest mark, gave the guy the chance to punch it away from him.
He relaxed, didn't he, Robbo, as the ball got to him?
Just a little bit.
Barnes won it. Bairstow, a chance. A hurried kick. Goes across the ground towards Peter Riccardi. Look at Matera. Waterman on all fours. Pike leaves it for Matera, who's up like a jack in a box. He may kick one. Oh! Peter Matera! The Eagles start with a goal in the third quarter. 9-7, plays 8-6.
He is an amazing footballer, Peter Matera. A couple of moments ago down in defence, he worked his way up to the forward line. He chases tackles, does all the hard things, but look at this amazing pace and balance, and finishes it off, of course, with that 50-metre goal.
Be a little bit critical of Bairstow there. I thought he could have put a little bit bigger effort into trying to snag Matera. Barnes, eye right on the football, but Kemp gets his left foot to it, goes pretty well straight up in the air, punched away, forward for the Eagles. Hynes just gets his left foot to it. It goes to the 50-metre line. Views can't get out of trouble. Great effort by Dean Kemp. And in goes Waterman. Steve Hocking under pressure, goes for the boundary line.
And lucky there, Robbo. Good lucky Andrew Buse.
Yeah, my word.
He tried to fend off. He was tackled. He had a couple of opportunities to get rid of that ball.
Boundary throw in, 50 metres from the Eagles' goal. Barnes up high. Ball goes back over for a boundary throw.
I'll tell you what, Hynes has done a couple of very important tackles that have resulted in turnovers and given the West Coast Eagles a chance at goal, especially that other one from Matera. A good tackle across half forward there from David Hynes. They're doing the real hard things in the forward line.
Bairstow kicks it back near the centre. No mark taken. Scott paddles the ball in front. Chipping in was Lynch. Now Forsman. Eventually Couch. Doesn't quite get the effective kick that he was looking for. And Jakovic marks in front of Stoneham. Handball away and Evans will clear for West Coast.
As he goes with a long left foot kick. Barnes comes over the top. He doesn't try and mark, just tries to belt it away. Riccardi in there to help him. So too is Steve Hocking. Wilson and Hynes for the Eagles. Hynes does well to get it out. Barnes recovers. Almost got one in the back. Look at Hynes still going. He started the day on the bench. Eventually it's Bairstow close to the line with Pike. Don Pike keeps it in play. And the spectacular leap by McIntosh along the ground is not successful. Darcy takes the hand pass and he gets Geelong temporarily out of trouble to Tudor on half-back. Leigh Tudor, fairly quiet. Steele, Darren Steele, delighted to be back in the lineup after an enforced layoff. Scott edged out by Hart, and it's the latter who's first to recover. Hart on centre wing. Down to Sumich, he's a long way out. Gets caught, but he's somehow able to get his kick to half forward, towards Heady territory. Beautifully done, Brent Heady. Beautifully done. Waterman will have a shot, just 35 metres out.
See, they're a classic combination. Once they start getting their running game going, the West Coast Eagles, fantastic stuff there from Heady. Look at that spin out of trouble. They just put it out in front of Waterman, and that's what you're talking about, Robbo. That mark out in front of the body there, extended the arms.
You mentioned about tackles that Hynes had affected. It's amazing those little touches that restrict, whereas Geelong haven't been able to do it equally as well as the Eagles.
Here's Chris Waterman. Vital kick this one to give them a little bit of breathing space, but it's away to the right. Through for one behind. That's Chris's second behind. Great behind, you're quite right, my man. 9-8 plays 8-6. I don't know whether he's talking about the kick actually with that sign, but we won't go into that.
O'Reilly kicks in and finds Bairstow in the back pocket. He plays on quickly and immediately gives it up. Matera is marked safely on his chest on centre wing.
Not a lot of possessions for Matera, only coming in for kick number 10, but he's got full value for everyone, Robbo.
Went straight through Hynes. Chance for Hardy. Handball, gives it away. Couch. Barnes has a chance. No, off the ground. Tudor held. Didn't have the football. Geelong will take the free kick just behind the, well, it's on the defensive side of the centre square. Handball away for Buse. Buse goes across the ground. Probably not all that direct, but gathered well by Steele. Too high, Matera. And the free kick will go to Darren Steele. Peter Matera not happy, but it was fairly plain from our vantage point. Riccardi receives the hand pass, kicks it high. Forwards don't like that. Steele again. Chance for Stoneham. Gets the ball back to Riccardi. Hand pass in towards Brown. Brown's left foot kick. Well weighted. Brownless couldn't take it. White. Now David Hart. Runs away. Handball wider still. Pike. Those midfielders, those 6-footers. Jakovic. He's a little bit taller than 6 foot. That's not a very good kick. The mark taken by Riccardi.
Wants to go on with it quickly to the outer side and Bairstow. Thought about the hand pass, but now goes back. Geelong trailing by 8 points. Stoneham 60 metres out.
And starting to move around that half-forward line too, Barry Stoneham. Good to see.
Ablett will be his man. Ablett and Brennan. They're at each other. Ablett. Oh, he's crunched into that goalpost and he's hurt. He's hurt.
And he's back.
He's kicked the goal, Sandy, but he is in big trouble, Gary Ablett.
Well, let's stay with this because he's rammed into that at a fair speed. And that is an absolute tragedy.
Well, it is tragic, isn't it?
Takes a bit to hurt this man, let me tell you.
Let's
have a look at it once again.
Just getting away there, Mitchell White entitled to do what he did. And Gary Ablett completely off balance.
Well,
that is...
Now, you can't believe this, but they've got the game going again, and it's down at the half-forward line for the Eagles. That's extraordinary, because Gary Ablett is still on the ground. Now it's out of bounds in that left-forward pocket.
Well, they're carrying him off. No, they're not
he's
carrying
up.
him off. He's up and on his feet. I thought they had the stretcher out there for him, Sandy, but gee, it'd be amazing if he plays, really has much impact on the match after this.
Well, that's a generous applause from this very sporting crowd. It's grand to see. McIntosh, he had a chance then if he could have picked it up. He couldn't. Barnes, hand pass, sweeps towards Darcy. They're still with Bairstow in the back pocket. Look at the tackle of Heady. A beauty. It's still in play. A high kick. No one able to take the mark. Spills free to Brown. Goes wide. And Steve Hocking is over the boundary line with Don Pike, who looks around hoping the umpire may have seen something really wrong.
Well, that's the sort of tackling we were talking about, Robbo, wasn't it?
Yeah, no easy kicks.
And, good to see Gary Ablett up and about again. They did start to carry the stretcher out to him, but he's okay.
He's been bopped on the nose too, I think. David Hynes in the middle of the action there, trying to get the ball clear. Barnes. And eventually the umpire will call for a bounce. Not all that far from the Eagles' goal, about 35 metres.
Actually put Billy Brownless into the goal square, and Gary Ablett's now playing about 30 metres out.
Well, it looks as though he's moving reasonably freely. We'll have to wait and see when the football gets down that end of the ground. Barnes up high. Darcy in trouble. So was Brown. The hand pass gets clear. Now they're an opportunity to get out of the trouble. Couch's kick. Good mark taken by Evans in the centre of the ground. He plays on quickly. Short kick. Mark taken by Hardy. Still 2 kicks from goal. He goes straight towards goal, and the mark is taken by Darcy as the 2 leading players went underneath the football, and Darcy has it between fullback and centre half back.
Goes to the outer side towards Riccardi and Robert Scott. Both are there, so too is Brown, and Matera sees it over the line. Full house here at the WACA tonight. Wonderful atmosphere. The atmosphere, naturally enough, of a final. Cutthroat one at that. Scott could have been held. He wasn't, said the umpire. And Darren Steele, frustrated that he couldn't keep it in play, but he gets an encouraging pat on the back. On centre wing. Well, this is perhaps giving Gary Ablett a bit of time to recover. Look at the speedster. Let's go a sweeping hand pass. Brown takes it. They get away from Hynes. Steve Hocking shrugs the tackle. Over the centre he goes. Stoneham and Jakovic lean into one another. Robert Scott runs into Chris Mainwaring. May lose the football, although Evans does to Forsman. Now Tudor, still in the middle. Eventually finds some space, and Steele's found a bit too. But he's 75 metres out. He heads towards Ablett. Worsfold is there. Comes over the top. Brownless is there as well, but Big Billy gets pummeled into the fence. Will have a throw in the right forward pocket.
Looking okay at the moment, Geelong. Just lifted the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think the third quarter's always a pretty good quarter to gauge who's going to win the game, but this might go right down to the last few minutes of the last quarter, the way these 2 sides are struggling against each other. Here's Ablett, and he's dumped. Ball goes over for a boundary throw, and he gets up a little slowly, but he's okay. And Billy Brownless got few members of his fan club there by the look of it. 9-8 plays 9-6.
I don't know whether they're members actually, that lot. Jakovic doing the right work. Stoneham at the bottom, Billy! Worsfold sees it over the line. One behind. Well, it's just very exciting to see a contest like this one go either way. The Eagles desperate to play a final at home. Here goes Worsfold off to Mainwaring. Leigh Tudor gives chase, but Mainwaring kicks to half forward. Fisted clear. The back is Hynes. Left foot snap by David Hynes. And he's kicked it.
Very, very skillfully done by David Hynes to kick his first goal. and the West Coast's 10th. Mainwaring again, having an influence, a high kick at full forward, and nearly a mark. It's been paid to young Colbert.
Yes, good attempt by Colbert. Excellent mark.
Again, just a youngster. Looking to give the hand pass. No, he's allowed to play on. Gee whiz, might mess this up. Darcy, short kick, marked by Barnes. Barnes is in the right back pocket again, a short kick. Darcy, did that go the required distance?
About a half a metre over.
10.1 metres. Darcy runs away, transfers play. He's going to be forced to kick high in towards the centre of the ground. Important contest here. Punched away. Still there for the West Coast to force it forward, but getting back is Tudor. Onto the right foot now. High towards centre half forward. Stoneham. Could have nearly been paid. No. Bairstow picking up the crumbs. Kicks across his body. Gets good ground too up towards full forward. Ablett can't take the mark. Back there is Banfield. Short kick. Effective. Mark taken by Matera.
Still tucked in the back pocket. Wide into Don Pike. The pair combine. Oh, and he glides out of defence so elegantly. Kicks long. Up to half forward. What a grab! McIntosh!
He gets full value Matera, doesn't he? A 60-metre kick out of defence.
He's still going! He's still going!
That's Peter Matera you're talking about?
Correct. Excitement machine.
Isn't he ever?
Another behind, 10-9, plays 9-7. 8 points the margin, the Rat will bring it back. Andrew Hughes towards Tim Darcy, who runs the boundary line, hugs it as he goes up towards centre wing. Harding just tried to edge out with a little nudge. Brown is there at the bottom of the pack for the Cats.
You know, it's interesting, Matera, who Bernie suggested was a little bit low with stats. He's still got 12 and 6, so he's getting close towards 20, isn't he?
Look, he gets full value though, Robbo. Those 60-metre kicks and the 30-metre dashes before the 60-metre kicks, gaining enormous meterage every time he gets the ball.
Bairstow up over centre wing. Strong taken by Jakovic. He's doing an excellent job. Knitting the defence together towards... I was going to say McIntosh, but they can take their choice now. Hynes gives it to Wilson. Willow sets sail for goal. Oh, the back of the back. Chris Waterman now. 20 metres out, almost directly in front, or will the umpire take him round? Yes, Muddy, round you go. Not much.
Good body work there, wasn't it, Sandy, from Waterman? Andrew Hughes always in trouble, Robbo.
Just getting a bit of a feeling, that's all.
Yes, I know you are.
I hope I'm wrong, because for Geelong's sake,
here's Waterman. He's goal.
Well, apart from Geelong leading early in the first term, I would suggest this would be the biggest margin, Bernie.
Yeah, certainly, Robbo. Out to 14 points at the moment.
So, crucial 2 or 3 minutes play for Geelong now. They must get one back. Forsman, good gather. Kick with the right foot, punched away by Brennan from Ablett. Stoneham a chance. Evans the tackler. Ball goes back to Lynch. Lynch from 50 metres, gets underneath it. It's going to land in the square. Oh, it's over the line, I think. No, it's touched. Gee, that was awful close to the goal. And the Geelong fans back at Caninier Park on the edge of their seats there as that ball sailed towards goal, but it just registers one behind. 9-8 plays 11-9.
Tell you what, Robbo, Gary Ablett sailed back blindly towards that goalpost once again. That occasion he missed it. Worsfold marks on half-back. Kicks to centre wing, Barnes. Couldn't quite hold it. Heady tried to tap on, but Tudor stops him. Couch, hurriedly onto the left foot, somewhat blindly, towards Stoneham and Jakovic. Jakovic to Matera. Two very damaging players. Well, that's a somewhat pedantic move by the umpire.
You're right, exactly right, Sandy.
Jakovic, however, doesn't concern himself with it. He goes wide to Mitchell White, in turn to Hart. Hart's on centre wing. This looks damaging again as he goes long to half forward. Kemp takes the mark inside 50.
Looking good at the moment, the Eagles.
Well, looking very good.
That set play across half-back was fantastic.
Got out of defence very well.
Beautifully organised.
Now, Kemp fancies himself here, kicking from 53 metres. A drop punt. It'll make the square. And there's a mark, or is it a free kick? I think the mark's going to be paid.
Yep, mark to O'Reilly.
On the last line of defence to O'Reilly, who goes towards Forsman. Oh, well, all over the top.
Not a bad replacement for McKenna, this fellow, is he?
Well, they're showing us everything at the moment, the Eagles, Bernie. He attempts a short pass, perhaps a little ambitiously. Colbert accepts the hand pass, and Geelong should get out of trouble. Tudor from half-back. A very short kick puts pressure on Couch. Tudor tries to butter up again. Couch is caught by Mainwaring, and eventually it spills free to Tudor. Look out! Oh! Not in the back. Play on is the call. Mainwaring's kicked 2 sensational goals. He's looking for number 3, but it's not to be. One behind. Lucky to get that too, I'd say. It just snuck in, didn't it? Oh.
2 goals, 2 to Chris Mainwaring. He's had 10 kicks and 5 hand passes. Some wonderful tackling though by the West Coast Eagles again in the Geelong defensive part of the ground there. They've certainly worked hard to keep the ball in there, haven't they, Sandy?
This is a warm-up for their finals campaign. It's not a bad warm-up.
Good effort there by O'Reilly to stand his ground and mark at centre half back. He gets the hand pass away to Darcy. Darcy runs down the ground. He's looking to give a hand pass away. Now he's got someone in support. It's Couch. Couch's short pass. By gee, put Stoneham under a bit of pressure because Jakovic was right behind him. But Big Barry has taken the mark 50 metres from goal. The Cats need this one. Can Barry Stoneham kick the distance? He gets a good long kick at it, and he's done well. I think it's a goal. Barry Stoneham with 2 goals and Gary Ablett with 3. Leading goal scorers for the Cats. West Coast through Heady. Handball to David Hart, who's run beautifully from the back line. A short pass into the full forward area. Sumich had 2 or 3 grabs at it. Not paid. Still got the football underneath. Could have nearly been penalised. And away goes young Lynch and finds touch right in front of Malcolm Blight. There's 2 assistants there.
Here's the attempt again, Robbo, from Sumich. Almost, not quite.
Pretty good decision. Eagles force it inside 50 metres. Running onto it there is Clappe. Onto the ground, he gets his right foot to it, kicks it across his shoulder. High flyers wanted, no one can take the mark. O'Reilly didn't have the football, and O'Reilly will take the free kick for Geelong in their right back pocket.
He's done a pretty good job too on Sumich, Robbo. There's the tackles, West Coast Eagles in this quarter. We're talking about the tackling. Look at that, 12-2 in this term.
Well, Geelong's standing up, Sandy, so they're only trailed by 8 points. It's still a real game of football here at the WACA.
My word it is. Clappe, it gives it away to Evans, who snaps in towards goal. There's another one. Tony Evans has kicked his first, and the Eagles answer the challenge yet again. 12-10 plays 10-8.
Clever tap on there from Matt Clappe. Started the game on the interchange bench. There's a kick from O'Reilly coming from the back pocket, thumped away by Matera. He's working hard in attack or in defence. There's that clever little tap on. Evans left by himself. They've got wonderful skills, the Eagles, when they've got any sort of opportunity like that.
The Eagles chant goes up in the WACA. 82 plays 68 in the 3rd term. Barnes belts it wide towards the wing. Couch spins beautifully out of trouble once, then gives it back to Barnes. The big man's clear, goes on with a left foot snap pass up towards Ablett and Brennan. Brennan bundled out of it. Could have been some holding on there going the way of the Eagles, but they don't worry about it. It's kicked wide. Tudor sees it over the line. On the left half forward flank. Malcolm Blight.
Not too happy with things at the moment, I wouldn't think, Sandy, at this stage.
You've got to look at him there and say, now Malcolm, is this coaching caper? Just how much do you love it? But nevertheless, it's not over yet. Forsman. Couch. To half forward. Brennan chances his arm. He left Ablett, took the chance, and it's paid dividends. Up the centre wing. Hynes the flyer from the side. Couldn't take it. Heady shows great skills. Mainwaring pumps it high and somewhat blindly, and it bounces just inside Chris Mainwaring, and a throw-in will take place.
Michael Brennan would have to be one of the best fullbacks playing the game, I would think, Robbo.
Yeah, very good defender.
Very strong in the upper body, and has got amazing pace when he lets himself go.
Colbert had front position on that occasion. Steve Hocking's under pressure, eventually gets boot to ball, little toe poke. Tudor gains 6 or 7 metres. Mainwaring sees it over the line. So the Eagles lead. Points the margin. Darcy, Mainwaring. Mainwaring again to Heady. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. Gets clear. Oh, that's clever. Very, very clever to McIntosh. And they're just starting to flex their muscles now, the Eagles.
There's Brett Heady under a little bit of pressure here. Didn't blaze away. Saw McIntosh had gained a metre or so from Colbert. The pass was spot on.
So McIntosh to make the margin 22 points. Vital kick. Instead of 22, it is 15.
You'd like to have a look at Malcolm Blight's face now, wouldn't you?
2 points to Ashley McIntosh.
O'Reilly to kick it back in. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Geelong hanging in there. Another terrific kick by O'Reilly. Good mark taken by Barnes just outside the 50-metre line. Skillfully off the left foot. Kicks it high. And nearly the mark to Stoneham. Bairstow kicked off the ground. Goes back in the Riccardi direction, but he's beaten for it pointlessly by Matera. Well-weighted hand pass. Banfield runs onto it. Banfield's kick. Inside 50 metres. Brown, a lovely mark. Over the top of Hynes, hanging in the air. Geelong need a goal before three-quarter time. Have a look at that.
Yeah, great mark, Robbo. Paul Brown kicked about 38 goals last year playing as a forward.
Here's Barnes running across centre-half back. In short, mark taken by O'Reilly. No one there to take that hand pass. The Cats looking to move the ball on O'Reilly. A short kick goes near the centre. Mark taken by Brown. Now he's got a player running, and Steele. Steele, defensive side of the wing. Kicks to half forward. Good mark taken there by young Lynch. He plays on quickly. Short pass. Ablett. Brownless at the back. Gathers. Mitchell White. Scott. Eagles repel that Geelong attack, and Mitchell White finds touch with a little 25-metre kick.
Good defensive work there also by Tony Evans, putting his body on the line.
Under 3 minutes remaining. 83 plays 68. Harding does nicely to Mainwaring. Good tackle by Forsman. Barnes flicks it on to Tudor, who thought about Couch, but then takes it himself. Towards the 50 line. Stoneham's got to beat a couple. A well roved by Lynch. Beautifully done by Lynch. He eventually gets the kick. Down towards full forward. Ablett falls with a free kick.
You know, that's ridiculous because both players are pushing and shoving.
It goes to the Eagles. Brennan to the outer side. Blight gives it away to Matera. Evans is loose on centre wing. Tony Evans kicked their last goal. He goes up to the half-forward line once more. The Cats and Dealey love a couple before three-quarter time. The Eagles could almost make it safe if they can get a couple more. They want the double chance, the West Coast. McIntosh gives the hand pass away. Wilson's kick down towards Sumich and full forward. O'Reilly comes over the top with a fist and affects the spoil. Hynes is there. Hughes is there. Almost run out of room, Hughesy. Now he's clear to Tudor. And Leigh Tudor takes it from the back pocket. Bounces his way out of defence. Couple. Oh, the hand pass is not good. The hand pass is not at all good. He may pay dearly. Hard into half forward. In towards Sumich. Away from O'Reilly. Sumich's kick over. Can't pull it back far enough. And out of bounds in the left forward pocket.
It quizzes me when a player hasn't really got a dead set hand pass target. Boy, he goes for it.
Especially across half back there, Robbo.
Oh, so dangerous.
Percentage kicks a long one out wide.
Mark taken by O'Reilly. He's going to come back to this near side of the ground. So the Cats have crisscrossed across the full back line, and Steve Hocking has it in the left back pocket. Looking to give the hand pass away. There's no one really to kick it to. Now he kicks it out in front. Shooter makes good ground to take the mark just behind the wing. It's probably between half back and centre wing. looking to play on. A wobbly old punt kick, and it's picked off quite easily by Hart. He didn't control it, so the umpire called play on. Couch's kick lands in a vacant centre-half forward area. Out comes Ablett and Brennan. Brennan gets the hand pass away. Taken by Riccardi. Now Ablett. What can the mercurial Gary Ablett do? He's going to manufacture a goal. This boy will kick it. Young Lynch, he's got it. Geelong goal. Oh, gee whiz, the hearts must be in the mouths back at Canada Park. But eventually it's a goal at Geelong, kicked by Paul Lynch.
He almost messed it up, didn't he, Robbo? Almost. As we see this, Michael Brennan under enormous pressure there from Gary Ablett. It spills back to Gary Ablett, round the body there, and Lynch almost gave the Eagles defender some sort of an opportunity to get back there, and they'll just mess up the party there for Geelong.
So the Cats continue to hang in. They will not capitulate. We've got a quarter to go, and it's going to go right down to the wire as the racehorse Matera tries to escape. He runs out of time, and at three-quarter time, the West Coast are 12-11, 83. They're leading Geelong by 9 points. They're 11-8, 74. Round 22 continues tomorrow, and on Sunday tomorrow, North play the Dogs. The Blues play Sydney, and the Saints are up against the Tigers. Whilst on Sunday, this is where, Bernie, a few calculators could be used. So come Sunday afternoon, Brisbane plays Hawthorn, and Adelaide plays Collingwood. Note the late time. It could all come down to that game. Melbourne plays Fitzroy. The Bombers, wounded by the Cats, have the bye and the time to recover. It's three-quarter time here at the WACA, and what a great contest we have. The Eagles lead 12-11, 83. Geelong are 11-8, 74. Brief reminder about all the top sport coming your way on 7. Friday, September the 24th, of course. The big announcement for the year 2000. Will it be Sydney? Who will host the games in the year 2000? You'll see that exclusively on 7, as you will the great race. And they all journey to the mountain for the Tooheys 1000. A big day for the petrolheads as we go down to the boundary line, and a man who won't miss that is Johnny Rogers. John?
Yes, Andy, you got me. Animated discussion Malcolm Blight was having with Peter Riccardi, I guess because of the way Matera was dominating that quarter. He wants Billy Brownless and the rest of the forwards to run to the ball rather than wait for it to come to them. He said that there's 30 minutes of footy to go. There's only a couple of kicks in it, and they're well and truly in the game, and he firmly believes they can win. The Eagles, on the other hand, believe that Geelong are tiring. The main message was to keep running, get to the fall of the ball, and make sure they don't give up the easy turnover. The word is going to be pressure, pressure, pressure as far as the Eagles are concerned, and the important thing is to get the ball out of the middle.
Thank you, John. So, is Geelong's season going to come to an end? Gary Ablett in that quarter, that was quite dramatic as he slammed into that goalpost and looked in deep trouble. He's okay. Have the Cats got more than 1 quarter of football for the year left? Well, the next 30 minutes will answer that question. Will the Eagles get to host a final in Perth? They certainly hope so. So here we go. The Eagles by 9 points. Harding and Barnes prepare to charge each other again. Been at it all night. Pumped out of the middle by Bairstow. Down towards half forward, and Robert Scott. He's ripped off the football. They're playing for keeps as they have been all night. It's been wonderful stuff. Heady goes to ground. Illegally so. Pushed in the back. They'll take the free kick on centre wing. Gives it off to Wilson, who heads towards centre half forward. Colbert's had a big job. This man's been magnificent. McIntosh, 60 metres out, passes in towards full forward. It goes astray. It's taken by Hughes. He gets his kick back towards centre wing. Harding and Barnes. Harding's given away the free kick. He's a key player, Barnes, I think.
He is. Look at the hit-outs, Robbo. 32 to 16. Barnes has played a fantastic game again.
Colbert spins out of the Wilson tackle. Still on centre wing. Now spiralling high towards half forward. Towards Ablett. Towards Stoneham. Good bump by Worsfold. The ball spills free. Worsfold sees it towards the line. Free kick to whistle sounded.
Against Jakovic. I think it was a high tackle on Stoneham when he was on the ground there. Let's have a look at it again. Stoneham on the ground. In comes Jakovic. Yes. A little bit high. The umpire right on the spot to have a look at that one. Robbo?
It wasn't necessary, was it?
It wasn't necessary.
So Stoneham is going to have a shot. What an important kick this one is. They trailed by 9 points. Going to be kicked from 47 metres. It's a drop punt. It's close. Brownless doesn't have to worry because he's kicked a mighty goal. I was watching Billy clasping the goalpost. And the margin is back to just 3 points.
Yes, Big Barry Stoneham playing a very good game at centre half forward. 3 goals in a tight game, very important. There was Jakovic backing back. Brennan and Ablett tangling. A very good butt there by Johnny Worsfold. A little bit severe with that tackle was Jakovic.
Which I thought it was nearly a free kick to Stoneham against Worsfold himself.
Side bump, I thought, Robbo.
In the back. But anyway, 12-11 plays 12-8. Barnes beaten for it by Heady. But Bairstow, kick number 25. What a captain's game he's played. Ball spills free. Chance for Scott. Nearly held by Hart. Hart's got him. Scott has got the kick away and effected a score for Geelong. That's his first score for the evening. Robert Scott, one behind. Back to 2 points. Mitchell White to kick it back into play. No one really moving. Well, this is a conjectural point. Fullback's holding the ball up to wait for the play down the ground. Banfield couldn't control it. He's got a chance here. Looks for the hand pass for Matera. Evans has got it. Tackled by Riccardi. He shrugs the tackle and effects the kick. Back near the centre wing, and it's taken by Stephen Hocking. Geelong without Gary Hocking. Short kick. Eagles a chance to run it away. David Hart, one bounce. Short kick. Oh, it might have been out. One way affected the mark, but it's out on the full. Free kick to Darcy at right half back.
Darcy kicks the Cats up over centre wing. Towards Stoneham and Jakovic. Jakovic gets front spot. Stoneham affects the spoil. Heady works hard. It's a hurried left foot kick. Back towards the centre wing. Towards the boundary line once again. And off the thigh of Peter Riccardi for a throw-in. Barnes and Harding, one by the latter. Couch dropped it, then regained it. Towards Scott. Still going Robert Scott. Goes over the top to Bairstow. Somehow gets clear. Does it beautifully to Couch. Clappe shepherded it out. Couch passes towards half forward. And the mark's taken by Leigh. Brownless marks.
Great pass. Paul Stoneham. Paul Couch finding Billy Brownless, hitting him on the chest. But Couch showing a bit of dash there. I didn't know he had that much pace, Robbo.
He's a good player, Paul Couch. He's got good vision too.
So Brownless directly in front. This for the Cats to hit the lead. Yes! They're wrapped down at the Cattery. Geelong lead 13-9 to 12-11.
Billy Brownless' second goal. And very determined effort here from Paul Couch, winning the ball here out of this congestion. Bairstow has been in everything. Look at Paul Couch, away he goes, one bounce. Steadies onto that left boot, puts it out in front of the leading Billy Brownless. Great play there from Paul Couch.
Bairstow's been fantastic, Sandy. He's just led from the front.
Inspiration.
He was a little quiet in the second term, but now the Eagles a chance. Pike, he's kicking to a vacant area at right half forward. Clappe and Hughes clash, kick off the ground by young Colbert. Close to the boundary line it goes over. So still plenty of time left as Godden in the background prepares to come back onto the ground for the West Coast. Hynes doing the ruck work, up against Barnes. Ball comes to Steve Hocking. Little hand pass to Colbert. His kick, smothered off the boot. Still in the area of danger for Geelong. Darcy handballing to himself. Brown dumped by Hynes unfairly, and the free kick will go to Brown in the left back pocket area. Darcy getting up a little gingerly. 20 minutes left. Brown with the football for Geelong. A high ball, well outside 50 metres. Stoneham up high, couldn't take the mark. At the back was Evans trying to force it forward. In there is Tudor, grabbed by the leg. The free kick, the advantage is paid for Geelong. Steele running nicely in towards full forward. Steele from Ablett. What a great mark by Gary Ablett. And the fans at Kardinia Park are ecstatic. Gary Ablett's got the football. He's kicked 3. His 4th goal could give Geelong a very handy advantage.
Well, they should be happy at Kardinia Park too, because the Geelong side, they've kicked the last 2 goals. The first 2 goals in this final term, and Gary Ablett with a big chance.
Well, he should kick the distance. It's a good kick. It's very close. Just one behind. And Cat fans at Kardinia Park, be seated. 13-10 plays 12-11.
3 goals for to Gary Ablett.
5 points in it. Just a kick. Jakovic tried to use it with one hand, not successful. Robert Scott over the top to Riccardi. Stoneham, he's on a very tight angle. He bends it back. There's still a kick in it. The margin is now 6 points. Barry Stoneham has booted at 3-3.
5 scoring shots in this last quarter, all to Geelong. West Coast have not added to their 3/4 time score.
They've been up there, have they?
No.
Mitchell White going to bring it back into play, and again he wants Jakovic. Riccardi's got to go with him, gives away plenty of height. Jakovic is away. He has a bounce. You better be quick. Scott lays the tackle, but he gets the kick only as far as centre wing. All Geelong once again as Steele takes it from Colbert. Darren Steele on centre wing can pass to Couch. Couch is 60 metres out. He might set sail for home. It's a long kick towards full forward. Ablett and Brownless are both there at the back. Eventually it's taken over the line. Oh, this is desperation. There are no second chances for Geelong.
Don't forget, Sandy, the Eagles have not won at the WACA this year, beaten by both Fitzroy and North Melbourne.
Couple of games, yes. Ablett, high kick. Hart, Scott at the back. Lynch was there. Pike takes it nicely. Don Pike, an underground hand pass to Heady. He goes further afield to centre wing to Matera. Look at him go. Still going. This could be something special. In towards full forward.
Unbelievable.
Grand play.
Back himself.
Horn Smith medalist last year. 3 or 4 bounces. Has he got an amazing balance?
Well, there's one bloke here
Look
that
at
he
this from
takes on.
half-back, Robbo.
Who's the guy he takes on here? Just now, he ducks back the other way.
Yeah, good shepherding there. I think
Steve
it was Steve Hocking. It was.
Steve Hocking.
And look at that pass, hitting Waterman right on the chest.
Well, it's just to level the scores. Well, that's a lovely kick. What a kick from behind. I tell you what, this crowd, they tend to get you, don't they? They rise with the ball.
Well, it must have been close because the goal umpire was right behind that right-hand goalpost.
And all throughout the week, people have been working out the different computations. I wonder if anyone has taken into consideration a draw. I don't even want to think about it.
Barnes, terrific mark, Sandy.
But, yes.
Done a good job.
Got a big task.
Got a good
big task. Oh! Riccardi may help him out. He does. Paul Brown took his eye off it at the critical stage, but Bairstow gives him backup support. Hocking goes even wider to Darcy. Tim Darcy gets the hand pass away. Tudor could goal. 48 metres. Leigh Tudor has kicked it.
A very good kick there by Leigh Tudor for his 2nd goal. Gives Geelong an 11-point advantage. Centre bounce is also critical. Barnes still jumping and leaping. Stoneham crashes his way through. Away to Barnes. Short kick, nearly taken by Evans. Beaten for it by Forsman. In comes Brennan to help out. Taps it over for a boundary throw-in.
Yeah,
Gary Hocking.
I think Barnes, really, Robbo's disposal at times, he needs to go long and direct, because when he starts thinking about it, he's all over the place. His hand passing certainly puts his teammates under enormous pressure.
Real battle there between Jakovic and Stoneham. Kick back by Evans towards the centre. No mark taken. The crumbs will be gathered by Godden. He's on his own in the centre. He's kicked towards full forward, pretty good. Sumich couldn't take the mark. Out comes Brown. He's going to get caught. Run down by Hynes. Wilson is there. He gets his kick away. In towards centre-half forward. It goes through all players. At the back, chance for Waterman. Sweeps onto the left foot. Into the goal square. Matera's got it. And he should kick a goal here, Peter Matera.
It was all class, wasn't it, Robbo, from Waterman? He didn't blaze away. A couple of minutes ago, it was Matera to Waterman. This time, Waterman to Matera. He's a magnificent player, Matera. A well-balanced footballer. He's already kicked 2 goals, Peter Matera.
And he's had 22 possessions. A key player in the West Coast Eagles lineup, Peter Matera, for goal number 3. He doesn't miss from there.
Now the Eagle chant goes up. They're within 5 points. Barnes and Harding again. Belted out of the centre. Oh, look at Barnes. 30 metres towards Stoneham, who tried to push it back inside. Ready to see his immediate opposition, Jakovic, steal it. Kick to half forward. A fine kick too. Wilson is lurking there. He's in trouble. But he picked out Heady beautifully. Somehow he managed to get boot the ball. Now Tudor shows desperation. Kicks it off the ground. Waterman overruns it. And Tudor has followed play down. Should get Geelong out of trouble. But he gets Leigh. Ball goes over the line, there's no free kick, and a throw-in will take place.
Yes, Godden there applying the tackle, Sandy, to Tudor, but Tudor did very well to get back there in defence.
Still a ton of time for either side. Whoever is good enough. Hughes. Brown. And again over the line.
Well, Geelong don't need a draw, as we see Trevor Poole and Kenny Hinkley on the bench. Geelong just need the 4 points, Sandy, and then the result on Sunday also critical for them.
Exactly right. So I just wonder what it might have done to the Eagles over the line. Another throw-in. Well, Geelong have been busy in the last quarter as far as handballing is concerned.
So about numbered
quite
everywhere.
amazing.
Throw in again.
Well done, Wilson.
Still going. Look at Wilson at the bottom of that pack.
Well, he's got to be careful. His efforts were pretty good, but just when he dives like that, and the umpire's right on the scene, he could quite easily give a free kick away.
.40 metres out from the Eagles scoring zone. They trailed by just 5 points. Waterman on all fours. Lynch steals it, gives it away to Brown. He goes to the outer side. Hynes is there. Harding was there also. Stoneham says, get out of my way, I'm coming through. Big batter. Up towards the 50-metre line. Brennan. Ablett. Couldn't take it cleanly. Pike can. And he steadies to Mainwaring. Out in front of Chris Mainwaring. Who has it now? Luck's a fortune. Kick short but found its mark. Socket off the ground but only as far as Barnes. Now will he go for the hand pass or will he take the kick? Oh, he has a bounce. He's pumped on Barnes. Up towards Ablett. Who barks.
Bertie had his heart in his mouth with Barnes at the ball in.
I tell you what, he can give it away, John Barnes. But again, an enormous game from him tonight in the ruck against Paul Harding.
So Ablett to have a shot.
He's got great skills, hasn't he, Barnes? Both sides of his body. He kicks the ball well, left foot or right foot, it doesn't matter. And Gary Ablett taking that mark around about 46 metres from goal.
First 2 or 3 shots at goal tonight was sadly off target. He's kicked 3 goals, 4.
It should make the distance though, Sandy, from here.
Geelong leads by 5 points at the moment. He's kicked from 51 metres. It's a drop punt. It's a delightful looking kick. And he's kicked it. Again, the Cats stretch their lead to 11 points. That's a pressure kick.
4 goals now to Gary Ablett. 4 goals, 4. 123 goals for the season. Averaging just over 7 goals a game. 7.4 in fact coming into this match. Under enormous pressure again, Gary Ablett. Taking that mark out in front. Got a bandage across the bridge of his nose there. Very damaging player on that Geelong forward line.
Well, the Eagles kicked 4 goals in each of the 3 quarters. Geelong kicked 5, 3 and 3. And so far in this last term, the Eagles have kicked 1 and Geelong have kicked 4. So Geelong doing everything right so far. Mainwaring dragged to the ground, didn't have the football, and Chris Mainwaring will take the free kick. And the West Coast about to effect a change. Mainwaring runs around onto the right foot, thumps it into the goal square. The ball at the back, O'Reilly composed, gets it to Stephen Hocking. Steve Hocking, short pass, not bad, should have been grabbed there. Looked like Bairstow, was it? And now Riccardi in all sorts of trouble. Matera nearly for Bairstow. Waterman, handball away. Matera, good shepherd, gives that player a little bit of space. The short kick, and its mark has been taken by Hynes. Back to Matera, loves to run. A shocking kick, may get past the Geelong player. Mainwaring, Tudor, does well. Handball away, away go Geelong. Couch, a short pass is okay. Stoneham is marked between the wing and left half forward. He couldn't kick it long in the Ablett direction. That's exactly what he does. It falls in short. A shot by Worsfold. Away goes Brennan. Okay, sizes up the situation. The mark taken by Heady.
Steadies it down just for a moment. Goes around his body to Chris Mainwaring on centre wing. We've got just over 10 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for either side to snatch what will be a very thrilling win. Chris Mainwaring. Very close to the boundary line. Barnes is a mighty flyer. Couldn't take it. Godden tried to get it away towards Wilson. Eventually the umpire comes in for a bounce. Darren Goldsmith and Chris Mitchell have been the men in charge tonight. Just in the Eagles' attacking zone. Hynes does it to Godden. Gets a hurried kick. Now who's holding who?
Well done.
Man in front must get the free kick there. Tim Darcy.
Done pretty well.
50 metres.
Back 50 metres will bring Darcy past the centre of the ground. Geelong doing it well in this last quarter.
There's a bit of fire play going on behind too, but perhaps the simplest answer to that is to have a look at the scoreboard. Looks like Worsfold and young Lynch. Darcy deep in towards Ablett.
Body stuff. In the end, Ablett just worried about the ball, hit him right on the chest. He's kicked 4 goals, Gary Ablett, 4 goals, 4, including 1 in this final quarter.
So is their top gun going to fire again?
Right behind Gary Ablett, the dugout, is Gary Hocking. He'd be anxious to see the Cats win, I think.
Well, so with Kenny Hinkley there, Trevor Poole. 40 metres. Drop punt by Gary Ablett. This is very, very close. He's got it.
West Coast made a switch. Sumich out to centre half forward. McIntosh back to the goal square. But Barnes has been terrific. Gets an effective tap out. Steele tried to tap it onto the advantage of Stoneham. Stoneham hard, but Couch sweeps a hand pass. Taken away by Evans. Handball Heady. In turn Mainwaring. They've got to get a goal quickly, the West Coast, if they're to win this game. Nearly the mark there to Stephen Hocking. Out there to help out is O'Reilly. Nearly bundled off the football. Stephen Hocking. Still Sumich. Bashes it forward. Barnes, a little kick to his own advantage, and eventually watches as it goes over in front of he and Wilson. 8 minutes left in the game, and Geelong hold the aces at the moment.
Sumich hasn't been the same player this year, I don't think. Robbo, only 4 kicks tonight. Perfect conditions you would expect for a full forward or a forward type player. Sumich, I don't know, his fitness may not be what it should be this year either.
Well done by Heady, but he's been dispossessed. Tudor. Bairstow's been absolutely enormous. Steele tries to knock it on. Goes over. 7 3/4 minutes left, and I would suggest that if Geelong can't hang on in this situation, they'd have to be very, very stiff. 107 plays 90. 17 points is their advantage, and still Barnes jumping and leaping. Now the ball comes wide for Mainwaring, but he's held in by Tudor. Hand pass. Goes towards Thorsman. He's held in, and the umpire will call for a bounce. 26 and 7 to Bairstow.
Just over 7 minutes remaining. Ball on the outer side. Barnes again. Has struck a purple patch of form at the moment. He was sensational against Essendon. Waterman. Stretched, arched his back, couldn't take it. It's socket off the ground, but it's wide. Too wide, out of bounds on the full by Godden.
Well, that previous encounter at Godinia Park could be the one that cost the Cats, couldn't it? 38 points up halfway through that third term, and then going on to lose the match by 8 points. The situation could have been well and truly reversed coming into this game here at the WACA.
Barnes couldn't take the mark. Steele. And that's over the line.
Oh, shocking kick.
Slews off the side of the boot and finishes at centre-half forward. But Tim Darcy marks well in defence. He's done well.
Very steady, Sandy.
Steve Hocking heads for Forsman territory. With him is Evans on the outer wing. Forsman round his body. That's going to go desperately close to the boundary line as well. Almost down to left half forward with Lynch and Stoneham. And a worse hold and over the line.
Stoneham's had a big impact at centre-half forward with his strength, playing up against Glenn Jakovic.
After quarter time.
After quarter time, yeah, very quite early.
17 points the margin. Stoneham again. Look at them gang tackle Evans. Darren Steele won a little. Perhaps Darren Steele may have been a smidgen high.
Harry Stoneham stats 6 marks, 14 kicks and 6 hand passes, and has kicked 3 goals, 3.
Over the centre. Time ticking away for the Eagles. O'Reilly almost runs into his own man, but then gets a hurried kick down towards the left half forward flank, and again Evans sees it over the line. Malcolm Blight, oh, he's a bit happy now, Malcolm, clapping his hands.
The crowd's starting to leave here too, Sandy.
They are.
The Eagle supporters.
Malcolm Blight giving them some encouragement. Stoneham gets up high. Back to the middle it comes. Evans kick.
Oh,
to
two
the
Eagles
centre.
collided there.
And both are down. Both are in trouble behind play. This has opened the door for the Cats. Bairstow could go on with it. He passes to the 50-metre line, and the mark is taken by Billy Brownless, and those players still in trouble.
One's Godden and one's Wilson, and a clash of heads there.
Oh, we've seen that again. Well, we saw it a week or so ago, and it's not a pretty sight. But the action's with Brownless. He can just about seal this, Billy, if he can pump it long. It's a magnificent kick. One behind. So Brian Wilson come off second best with a cut above what appears to be the eye, and also one on the ear. Kick in by Brennan, comes to the near side. We've got 4 minutes left.
Oh, that has to be uncontrolled bleeding with Peter Wilson there too, Robbo.
Well, they're both in trouble. Godden's in trouble too.
Cut his forehead as well. Yeah, he's got a cut across the top of the eye there, top of the nose and the right eye.
I don't think it'll make much difference, Bernie. Here goes Couch. Lovely hand pass to Scott. In turn, goes over the top. Bairstow, he can cap a beautiful game off, but he misses. Mark Bairstow, 1 goal, 1, but more importantly, he's had 28 kicks and 7 hand passes.
I don't know why I didn't stick to my guns. I've been talking about Geelong all week, and when Hocking was out of the side, I went for the Eagles.
You went off.
I'm not happy.
You went off them. Sugar baby?
Correct.
Happy. Jakovic. Marks at half-back. Crowd leaving, Sandy. Yes.
Oh, great.
Anfield. Baza Stoneham has risen to the occasion. As the crowd leaving the WACA, Stoneham doesn't mind it. It just goes short to Paul Couch. You know what it may mean? It may mean that the West Coast first final next week has got to be played in Melbourne. They might miss out on 3rd or 4th. But we're not going to know that either, are we? Probably till late Sunday afternoon. And now Geelong are going to look very interestingly at the clash at Football Park between Collingwood and Adelaide. Matera has tried his heart out. In fact, he's been quite brilliant at times. Kicks to centre wing. Darcy and Hynes. Good work by Hynes. He had to beat a couple. Couch is right on his hammer. Oh, coupling one was Banfield, and he'll take the free kick on centre wing.
Yes, well, of course, if Collingwood beats Adelaide, Geelong's in the 6th.
Correct. Half forward, Sumich. Oh, I don't think the crowd's too happy with him. Maybe that tells the story of his mind. He kicked 2 early goals, 2 in the first quarter.
Well, that's all he did last week, 2 against Footscray. Kicked 2 goals in the first quarter, a couple of dubious umpiring decisions, playing on a rookie in young Brad Nicholson. And looking at Sumich, I'll tell you what, he doesn't look all that fit to me this year. Well done there by Stoneham, out-marking Jakovic.
He's a long way from goal, probably 2 kicks, but certainly will put it within scoring distance for the Cats. In towards centre half forward. High
They'll be celebrating in Continua Park tonight, Sandy. They certainly will. Going wild in that social club. So they should be. This is a terrific performance by the Cats.
He's a great player still. What is he, Bernie? 31, I think.
Yep, 31, still, Gary Ablett.
Still can do some wonderful things in a game of football. 14 kicks, 5 goals, so his 15th kick.
The 2 key positions, look at Stoneham. He's taken 8 marks, 16 kicks, 6 hand passes.
Well, this could be 6 goals to Gary Ablett. It's high, coming back with the breeze. Through for just 1 behind. 5 goals, 5. But certainly a key player for the Cats, who should win this game now. They're 20 points in front with just over a minute left.
Mitchell White brings it back into play. He goes straight down the middle. Couch got a hand to it. It was very dangerous. Tony Evans has the pace to scoot away. Kicks it towards Clappe and Steve Hocking. Matera gets a nice bounce. Traps it well. He lopes forward. Up towards Harding, who copped one. Ricocheted off a player, and I think the advantage may have been paid. Tony Godden goes on with the job and kicks the goal.
Well, there's the time remaining up in the left-hand corner of the screen. Eagles a chance to get the ball clear of the centre circle. Heady, a quick kick, right half forward. All players just misjudging that, except Steve Hocking, who gets it away. Geelong force it forward, no mark taken. Stoneham a chance again. Beautiful gather, and from 50 metres, Barry Stoneham bangs through his 4th goal. Well, Bernie, you'd nearly have to figure, I think, because he's been such an influential player at centre-half forward, even though we mentioned he had a fairly quiet first term. 4 goals and 23 possessions. Well,
Jakovic has been a reasonable player also for the Eagles, but those stats are fantastic for Stoneham. Since he served that 3-week suspension, he's come back bigger and better than ever, Barry Stoneham, and he's kicked 13 goals in his 3 games previous to this, and another 4 goals this evening.
Back in the middle once again. 96 plays 116. David Hynes doing the ruck work, giving Harding a spell. But it's Bairstow. He's been sensational. He's been a great leader tonight. To the left half forward flank towards Robert Scott, Stoneham, and Jakovic and Hart. But there's the siren. Malcolm Blight sees his finalist chances stay alive. They're delirious at Continua Park. Back in Victoria, and Blighty very quick to go over and congratulate his players. It's unusual that he shows emotion like that, but it's
he doesn't know who to go to
shows
first.
Just how delighted he is. He goes over to Gary Ablett. They know that there's still a chance to figure in the September action. The West Coast Eagles beaten, but my word, certainly not disgraced. A fantastic game of football as the Cats congregate in the middle of the ground. This crowd almost 30,000. Look at Blight with Bairstow.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Great stuff.
How they finished the season off well, Sandy?
Well, they'll look back now on probably some games. No point looking back, actually, but there are some games I think, my hat, did we do that? But they've finished with a wet sail. And really are probably playing arguably the best football in the competition at the moment.
No doubt that's Sandy. When you consider they also, as we said earlier, McGrath out suspended. Ken Hickley was on the bench for most of the game. And Gary Hocking, who's been averaging 26 possessions a match, he's been the hardest player in the centre square all year, Gary Hocking. And you consider that the Eagles looking a very sick and sorry lot as they go off the ground there, but fantastic performance by
Let's
the Cats.
go down to the boundary and let's hear from Mark Bairstow.
Yeah, Mark, they reckon a magnificent effort by you and your side. Well done.
Yeah, it was just a great team effort by everybody. Everybody did their little bit, and they're very tough to beat here, and they did a great job.
Mate, you came to play football, you could tell that.
Oh yeah, we were switched on. We lost a couple of blokes, pretty important players, but the blokes that filled in did a tremendous job.
Mate, from your own point of view, I lost count of the number of possessions. It was a great game. You were switched on.
Yeah, I was just trying to do my bit for the side and just force the ball forward and get some goals out of them.
Mate, I won't hold you up. The rest of your team's gone over to the Geelong supporters. Go with them. Good luck. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Yes, John Rogers speaking there with skipper Mark Bairstow. Cats are elated. We check the score here at WACA. Geelong is 17-14, 116. Victorious over the West Coast, 14-12, 96. Geelong players are very tired but very happy after a 20-point win, and well, they may be settled down. Billy?
Billy, then we'll have a drink.
You know who that was aimed at? Bernie, because he said he's got a little few kilos around that backside. I'm sure he's having a go.
No drinks tonight, Billy. That's out.
Gentlemen, in a word, of course, the big game now, we turn our attention to Sunday. Collingwood plays Adelaide at Football Park. Who are you picking, Robert?
Well, you're only having a go at us because we both tipped West Coast tonight.
Who are you going to pick?
No, I think Adelaide can win. Not any particular reason other than that 46,000 people that just go absolutely crazy.
Yeah, they've been great at home, haven't they, Sandy?
They have.
One with Adelaide.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage tonight. It's been a wonderful game of football. The Cats were successful by 20 points.